All right. It looks like we are ready to begin. So everybody, please welcome Zany Old Coot playing the Legend of Zelda Minish Cap Randomizer.
Whoop. And here we are.
Okay.
We're live. Okay, we're live.
And we just got a big raid from Bit Nerd Games.
Ooh, raids.
Right at the perfect moment for you guys.
Nice. Just in time for the action. France is fiction. I'd argue more that Finland is actually fiction, but hey, whatever gets you. Okay. Geez, my window is really small. Nope, nope, don't do that. Give myself a little bit more chat room. There we go.
Oh, okay. Apparently we are live. So,
Yes,
hello everyone.
we are
We are
live.
doing
Yes, we can't
Minish
really
Cap
hear
Randomizer.
anyone else, so we're a little out of the dark
I
here.
assume we've just been introduced in, but you're Zany, and you're going to be doing some Minish Cap Randomizer. You got a bunch of crazy settings on today.
Yeah,
I'm Myth. I do Minish Cap Rando as well, but
yep,
I'm going to be on commentary. You're playing.
yeah. And I'm Zany Old Coot. I found out about Minish Cap Randomizer a good while ago, probably more than a year ago, given how the tournament is going. Um, so I really enjoyed playing Minish Randomizer. Watched a few VODs to get started, and then went on my way. So I've since upgraded for at least this stream to going for max settings. And Myth, since I don't have my settings up, would you kindly explain what max settings are? Or at least
Yeah,
in my
sure.
case.
Um, Also, just to put your stream on Discord so I can see. But
Ah, yes.
yes, so we are going to be doing max settings, which is we're going to be having pretty much all of the settings on for the randomizer. So the main settings that we're going to have on is we're obviously going to have key sanity on, which means that all of the keys that normally are randomized to somewhere within their own dungeon are going to be randomized to some other place in the in the world. They can be found anywhere. So to beat this Zelda game, we need to collect all 4 elements, and that opens the final dungeon, Dark Horror Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Normally they're found on the boss rewards for dungeons, but in this we're going to have them shuffled into the overworld, as well as also requiring us to beat all dungeons in total. That's what we're going to need to be able to beat the rando in the end. So it's all 4 of the elements, and then also beating all of the dungeons.
Yeah.
And then we've just got a bunch of settings which open up more checks into the world. So we got things like open fusions, which, if you've ever played this game before and know the kinstone fusions, all of these kinstone fusions are going to be automatically completed from the very start of the game. So random chests are going to be like available in the overworld and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like Rupee Mania is on, so all freestanding rupees are items. Obscure spots, so like you need to dig certain parts of the ground or swim underwater and you'll find randomized items. There are over like 460 items in this randomizer, so
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot to
that sounds
check.
about right, but I'm still probably going to take about as long as I usually do. Hopefully. your seed depending. So, I suppose if there's nothing really else
Oh,
to...
yeah, you can get going.
Yeah, we should probably get going.
You can explain more whilst we're
Yeah,
whilst
okay.
you're
So
going.
for whoever's keeping time, I will do a countdown, 3, 2, 1, go, and on go, I will press A, and the timer should start. So, 3, 2, 1, go.
And off we go.
And we can already see the bid incentive winner following us, our lovely Lon Lon Ranch cow.
Yeah, this rando we also do have NPC followers that you can have follow you around as you play through your seed. And yeah, today we're going to have the cow.
Yeah.
Are we going to give the cow a name?
That's up to chat. I am not
Yeah.
creative with names, so if chat
Yeah,
wants
chat.
to throw anything out, they can
What-
certainly do that.
What do you want to name the cow?
Oh, Swampkin Snow already? Yes, and the cow will also mirror our actions, so if we walk upstairs, the cow will also walk upstairs. If we spin around on a magical platform that teleports us to somewhere else in the world, that'll also have an interaction. The cow will spin.
It'll be great when we get the cape and be able to like jump over holes and stuff. Oh, a nice
Yeah.
little palette bug here in that room. The cow likes to copy the sprites of the or like the palette coloring of the lady that's in there as well. So
Yeah.
that's unique to that room.
Okay, so there's a heart container on 300.
Okay.
Got some
And
interesting names coming in.
yeah, I'm seeing Moosey, like Moosey but with Moo. And then there's also Moostav,
Moose.
which I assume is supposed to be Gustav, like the king.
No, some donations could probably convince us to
Yeah.
what name to choose.
Oh, definitely.
Get it out there.
I'm sure that could be arranged. And I think my tracker is saying I didn't get Cafe Lady, but I swear I just did.
You definitely did.
Okay, so my tracker... I think my tracker is having some trouble right now.
It's always good to give it a quick restart at the start so it gets over and its issues and starts working straight away.
Yep, so
You
I'm
want to
just...
do that early?
I'm just gonna give that a quick restart.
Yeah. Only
Stop.
take a couple of seconds.
Start. Oh, it's because I didn't even link it. Oops.
Oh,
This is
there we
highly
go.
unprofessional. This is very highly unprofessional. My apologies. I am so sorry.
Oh,
We're back now.
There we go.
Everything's fine.
so we got an example of one of the obscure locations just a little bit earlier, where Zany went to the Half Inn and smashed one of the pots in there, and that had a randomized item inside of it.
It's usually a kinstone that you get for fusing with Percy over in Western Woods, which I believe is a guaranteed one to magic the exact one that Percy has.
I think so.
Because
It's one of the red ones.
yeah, because Percy mentions that he lost the figurine, potentially staying at the end, and since it's red,
Well, within the inn, if you sleep, if you talk to the lady downstairs and sleep in one of the bedrooms, you get a chest in the room that you wake up in, and you open that, and there's
yeah,
there's
I know
there's
about
kinstones.
that, but I think the kinstone varies depending on what room you get. Whereas
it's
I
random,
think I might be wrong, but I
and they're
think
also collectible. You can always go back and get more and more of those kinstones. That's why they're not randomized.
so.
Do you guys have a...
Ooh.
Sorry, we got a donation.
Oh, cool.
Just let me know when I...
Oh, you can totally just go whenever.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have a $20 donation from Moostav. And I'm gonna try to do this justice. It says Moo ow 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 Brown more Moo. Thanks a lot for making me do that. Thank you
That's
so much.
Thank you. I think this might be chat considering Mustav being the official name.
Yeah.
And so, since we can finally turn Minish, Mustav doesn't turn Minish either. So, Mustav will always be the same size, whether we're small or big. It's very
All right, so
entertaining.
you got your first item, which is
Yeah.
the cane of Patchy. You can use it to flip things over.
Yep.
And yeah, the cane lets you do a bunch of stuff in town because you can now flip these pots over and turn Minish. So there's a lot of things you can do here.
Yeah. And that's basically all I can do is town right now, because that's all I have available to me. Except for when you
Yeah.
get a sword.
Oh, there you go.
So now I have a lot more open to me. I think I will do a little bit of town real quick, just to get some of it out of the way. But actually, before I even do that,
Oh yeah, definitely come over here.
yeah, go to the Puddle by Link's house first for a free 15 items, which is just gonna be basically all figurines.
Yeah, in the vanilla game, this cave has 15 blue rupees, and because we both have Open Fusions on, which opens this cave, and then Rupee Mania, which randomizes all of the freestanding rupees, there's just 15 items there.
Yeah. And so now I'm just gonna do a little bit of area cleanup and some other area prepping for later. Yeah, I know that earlier on Friday that there was a Link to the Past race, and honestly, the Link to the Past team, from what I believe, had a really good hand in like helping set some things up, or at least was inspiration for some of the things. Myth, you might know a little bit more about that than I do.
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course, A Link to the Past randomizer was the first Zelda randomizer, so all of the Zelda randomizers were heavily inspired by the work that was done on A Link to the Past rando. I mean, I played A Link to the Past rando back in like 2017, so when I came on to work on Minish Cap Rando, it was the only reason why we started working on this was because of A Link to the Past randos, so...
Well then, I guess we've really got to give the Link to the Past team credit. And so here we're doing a Swift Blade check, which is, because I got a sword, I can now, in the main game, learn the spin attack. Except, I won't be learning the spin attack here. I'll be getting $20. Oh, and I also got boots, that's right.
Oh,
So-
yes, of course, the boots.
Yeah. And
Yeah, you got boots, you can go fast.
yeah, and we can go out of order with any of these checks, because usually you'd have first your normal sword, and then you'd get an upgraded sword, and then you'd get the Pegasus boots.
Oh, we didn't even explain what the figurines are.
Oh, I suppose
Okay.
we should probably do that. That's important.
So, in the base game, if you ever played this and ever tried to 100% this game, you would have remembered the figurine mini game. It is a gacha game where you you gamble a number of shells to this guy, and you pull a lever, and then you get a random figurine drop out of a machine. Depending on how many shells you put in, increases the odds that you get a new figurine, and there's 136 of them located in that machine. And you need to get all 136 before you can get the last heart piece in the game. There is a heart piece locked behind this mini game.
Yeah,
which
it's-
meant a lot of people got to 19 hearts and three quarters, and
Yep.
was like, wait, I need to do this to get my last heart piece? No thanks.
Yeah, myself included, definitely had that issue, and I never honestly fully completed it until, I want to say somewhat recently, but even that's not exactly recent. However, yeah, I've only finally 100%ed the game that I've played, like, on and off since childhood, like, within the past year.
Oh, yeah. So,
Ooh!
what
Ooh!
we oh, hello, there's the cape.
Yes.
So that's our jump. We can jump now.
Nice early cape. How'd you roll this
Yeah.
one, Myth?
Oh, don't worry, it's gonna get harder.
Oh, I'm sure.
It will get worse.
Yep.
So, what the figurines are that we're collecting at the moment, which is the number at the bottom left of the screen, it's like the Triforce Hunt, if you've ever seen it done in Ocarina of Time or A Link to the Past Randomizer. Basically, we need to get all 136 figurines, which are going to be located in random chests dotted around the game. And that's one of the requirements that we're going to need to get into Hyrule Castle. So like how I mentioned before, how we need to get all 4 of the elements, we need to beat all of the dungeons, we're also going to need to get all 136 of the figurines.
Also, Myth, I have to do it now since I have both Cane and Cape.
Oh, you're going to go there.
I'm going to go there early. I'm going early fountain.
Early fountain.
I feel like I have to respect it. But yeah, Little Foo, that either your game might be bugged, or what's probably more likely the issue is that...
No, that is completely true.
Oh?
Yep, if you're playing on the EU version of the game, which I'm assuming you are, if you ever did the fusion, if you ever started trying to do the fusion with one of the farmers, and cancelled out of it,
right.
It sets the flag that it's been, that the farmer won't offer the fusion anymore.
Across the entire cartridge?
No, on that save file.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got another quick donation if you guys are free
Oh, yeah.
to. I've got a $5 donation from MegaFreak400. It says,
Yo.
"Good luck, Zany, with your run. It's going to be a good time. As for cow name, Mushu, the cow shopkeeper."
Mushu. I mean, I hope I have enough rubies to be able to feed this cow, because cows are notoriously hungry animals. So...
They are
Well,
ruminators.
yeah, we'll definitely find we'll find a lot of money along the way, and all of it's probably just gonna go to the void. And
I'm here for all your farm facts.
well, sadly, early fountain wasn't a good payout. Also, just gonna get another annoying check out of the way straight away. That being Co-Comm minigame.
Yeah, unfortunately, this game had a couple of one-off things that were... If you didn't do it at that time, you would lock yourself out and not be able to 100% your save file. One of them is the light arrows. It is actually a side quest and a permanently missable item.
Mm-hmm.
You don't actually need the light arrows to be able to beat the game.
That's right.
But yeah, you're supposed to open the portal to the Wind Tribe by doing a fusion with one of the guys on the left side of town here. And he makes a portal by Link's house, which lets you get to the Wind Tribe early.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do that, and you go all the way through the game up to the Cloud Tops, and then you do all of the fusions in Cloud Tops and enter into the Wind Tribe, what happens is Gregor, the old man dying in the bed, actually just dies.
Yeah,
and...
he's just gone.
Yeah, you're supposed to go there earlier in the game and use the Gust Jar to cure him of his sickness because of this ghost that's flying around him.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do that, he will never give you the light arrows when you return there later in the game.
Mm-hmm. So not too much more in town that I want to do right now, but I might as well ring the bell. Oh, okay.
Oh,
no.
hello.
Let's go check our friend
Never mind.
Tingle real quick. I know I'm basically throwing routing out the window for whatever is cool, but I think we have to show off Tingle. So our good friend Tingle, the man who worships us, Mr. Fairy, gives you a reward if you fuse all of the Kinstones fusions in the game, and it's his trophy, if I'm to recall
All
correctly.
100, but they have already been completed.
Yep.
So we can just. Yeah, in the vanilla game, his reward for doing all of the fusions is he gives you the Tinkle trophy, just to mark that you've done it all. But yeah, in the randomizer, we decided to tweak it where we turned the Tingle statue into a fetch quest item where you find it and then you give it back to him.
Okay, and people probably know about how the cape works in this game, but I think we should explain a little bit more about what I kind of just did with the cape.
Oh,
with,
yes,
like,
you can do a cape extension. So with the cape, you can either just hold the button down and Link will hop and then automatically deploy the cape and glide. But if we can control the cape a little bit differently by instead of just tapping the button to do a hop, and then right as Link is about to land again, we press and hold the cape, and it will deploy the glide a lot further into the jump than normal. And it lets you get a little bit more distance.
Ooh, and
enough to be able to do some jumps which aren't normally doable just by holding the button down. This is known as cape extension because we're extending the cape duration.
Yeah, and we just got ourselves our first white sword, which is really the green sword.
Yeah.
So
What's going to be really important is going to be getting the red sword.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
The red sword will let us create clones. Because this game is the prequel to the Four Swords games. And we can start creating clones as we power up this sword. The really strong thing that that's going to allow us to do is it's going to let us go to Western Woods in the overworld. And Western Woods is loaded. There is a cave that is just like the cave that we saw by Link's house, which has 15 items.
Yep.
But also, there are tons of digging spots, and also a beanstalk that if you go up to the top of the beanstalk, it's the room which has the most items in the entire game. So, Western Woods has like 40 items in total. Just
so
alone.
you really oh, and looks like we're
Oh,
getting it
speaking of
already!
Do you have your spin?
No, I do not. I was going to bring that up. That's something we are currently missing. But as soon as we get that spin scroll, we are off to the races, as they say. So that's going to be really fun to get. Hopefully, I get my mitts before then, so I don't have to backtrack. But we know generally how well that's probably going to actually work out. Probably just going to do a little bit of cape jump trickery here. So, much like in the normal game, if you go into a tornado, or a wind gust, depending on how you want to call it, you get kicked up on Eslo, our hat friend, and you get to float around for a bit. But you can also jump into them with the Rock's Cape, because all you need to do is go into them to activate them. So, by getting the cape early, you can do this in Lon Lon Woods, and then you can... Oh, I should probably push this just in case. You can skip around to a whole bunch of other things really early on.
Yeah, this seems being really kind at the beginning here by just giving us red sword, boots, cape, cane. Like, all of these are, like, really nice items to have this early on.
And we only know it's going to make it so much more painful later.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, this is key sanity, remember, so all of the keys that we need for dungeons are found anywhere, so... Really, we want to try and avoid going to dungeons early for as long as possible, and then when we have all of the keys for a dungeon, then it would be a good idea to go there. And also, dungeons always have a dungeon item associated with them, so like the first dungeon that's in this area is Deepwood Shrine. You would normally get the Gust Jar in this dungeon. You don't really want to go to this dungeon until you get the Gust Jar, because it's what you need to be able to fight the boss and to get a lot of the items that are in this dungeon as well.
I'm probably going to do what I should be doing here, but just when I need to do it. So, what I'm going to be doing here in just a little bit is trying to save scum the checks in Minish Woods, or specifically the Minish Village, because it's either most likely here or somewhere in the Lake and Lon Lon area where my next little bit of progression is. So I can check all of the items that are up and through this path, but not in the village, because then the village itself is a different, distinct zone. So if there's nothing good here, I don't want to have to try and backtrack entirely through all of this and back all the way through Minish Woods just to get to the lake.
Yeah,
So-
just there, we got Minish Village appear at the top of the screen. That is what this game considers to be a new area. And because we saw that, when Zany pauses and then goes to the save menu and clicks Quick Warp, it will put them to the last time they saw this text. So if they use it here, it would only put them back in Minish Village.
And
You-
I'm
There
going...
is a figurine there, so you will have
yeah,
to go back.
I'll have to
here
go
at
back
some point.
there, but I don't have to grab it now. So now I'm all the way back up in the north of
Yeah.
Minish Woods, right by Lake Hylia, which is where I wanted to be.
And that
if-
saved a lot of backtracking.
Yeah, no,
'cause-
that's a whole lot of time for backtracking through that entire area just saved right there.
Yeah,
And I'm-
randomizer players will know quite a lot about save scums.
And I'm glad that I actually found out about that trick somewhat recently. And I mean, about just charging into the side of a wall in general, but... nothing. So what I did there is, if I charge into the side of a wall, but I'm not too far ahead of it... Ooh, Wind Element.
hello.
First element.
There's the first one.
The game will still push me off to the side because I didn't bonk, but my subpixel on Link will have changed to be as close to the wall as possible, while still allowing me to slide off to the side. So if you do that there and just hold up, you can charge along the wall. There is spin attack. Perfect.
There it is. Okay, there's the spin attack. That was the item that we've been looking for.
So it allowed me to go and charge against the side of the wall and go up and still be able to clip the tree, which just is a little bit of a time save instead of having to go and stop and do this and that and the other.
That corner slide thing is determined by subpixels, so it is kind of luck if you get it or not. Luckily, the subpixel range on it's pretty favorable though, so it's like I'd say it's like an 80-20. 80% likelihood that you get it. 20%.
My only concern currently... Oh, those are some very good items.
Oh, nice. Cave of Flame Sword.
Sword Beam, Avadi figurine, Fortress of Winsky. I'm kind of a little upset that I don't have bombs or the digging mitts yet, but now I've just gotten the ability to both swim, which is a common element in Zelda games of Link not being able to swim, but also the
Yeah.
Ocarina of Wind, which allows me
Yeah.
to warp to any wind crests that I've accessed around the maps, which is those statues that I interacted with that exploded. So,
Like, we've barely started and you've got all of the items which speed you up.
yeah.
Speed up your movement. We've got Cape, so you can jump over gaps and cut out extra movement. You've got the boot, so you can just dash quickly in a fast line. And you've got the Ocarina, so you can fast travel to anywhere in the overworld.
Yeah,
So
so
this should be a fast seed.
yeah, hopefully. I don't get to say hi to Percy quite yet. I don't want to, but I know I'll have to. So, no mitts yet.
Oh yeah, so what Zany did there is they activated the they went into the swamp area and they got the area text which says Western Woods, which means that when they do a quick warp after this beanstalk, it will warp them back to the last time they saw that area text, which was when they entered and exited the swamp.
So, since I'm basically going to be done here, since I can't blow up the one wall near the cave, I'm just going to go straight into Castor Wilds, which is why I set the quick warp. So, I can immediately just go back there.
So quick warp isn't something that's found in the base game of this. This was a quality of life addition by the randomizer.
So.
It just shortens you having to do a save and reset your game.
Yeah. And seems we're up to 2 Swamp Stones already. So who knows what's going to be... If I'm going to get the 3rd one next and then have to go to Fortress. Well, yeah. Thanks everyone for
Oh,
stopping by if they're leaving. And
nice bugged sprite. So one of the things with the follower NPCs is they kind of stress the game out a little bit. So we do get some busted sprites every now and then. Some animation that's supposed to play will instead have some broken sprites representing it instead.
yeah, it's kind of like a discolored beanstalk bit. If I'm... No, that's not right. It's not a beanstalk.
It's like a weird cloud, dusty cloud thing. Sometimes the beanstalks just look like that as well. And if we're super lucky, we may even have invisible clouds in Palace of Winds.
So one thing I wanted to mention earlier that I think we kind of skimmed over, so I believe that the follower AI is just basically from Zelda at the start of the game when she follows you about.
Yes, but not just at the beginning of the game, but at the very end of the game as
Right,
well.
it's right. Zelda's following stuff in general. I forgot I don't have the bow yet, so I have to.
Yes, you
I have to go.
don't have the bow.
I have to take the long way around if I want to do more checks here in Caster.
Oh yeah, you're gonna do all the
Yeah.
Minish stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
might
do-
as well do it now.
Yeah, because I'm here, I've already got the flippers, and I can swim. So, well, I mean, I just said the flippers and swim. Those are the same, one and the same. So I can just get all of hiking done straight away, which is really beneficial, honestly.
Yeah, so in the randomizer community, we like to call this set of checks here hiking. Especially the very last cave we call hiking because it's just such a trek to get to. You have to start as a Minish in the very top left of the swamp area, and then you have to go all the way around to the bottom right of the swamp as Minish to be able to get to this cave.
Yeah, it's super long. It takes a lot of time, it feels like. But compared to some other things, maybe it doesn't actually take so much. Yeah, Caster Wilds is a fun, different rendition of the overworld theme. Sadly, I didn't have
Oh,
green screen
yeah.
for that. Oh, yeah.
So Minish Cap isn't exactly one of the more popular of the 2D Zelda games. If like there is a lot of people that played stuff like A Link to the Past or OG Zelda, and they never played Minish Cap. And it's definitely worth giving a playthrough if you've never played this game before. If you liked your 2D Zelda games,
Yeah,
it's just full of charm and lots of like cute little Easter eggs and stuff. And
yeah, it looks really good. Like you saw in the small Minish swimming area there, that honestly the grass looked really good. It just...
this is probably by far the best looking Game Boy Advance game. And yes, you heard me right, this is a Game Boy Advance game. This isn't a DS game. So many people think that it was like, oh, it was on the DS, right? No. It's a Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. And I do agree that a lot of the OST for this game is phenomenal. I absolutely love the Cloud Tops theme, which is basically just the Zelda theme, Hyrule Field theme, but it's just so good. I can't remember what it is specifically from. Yeah, well, rando for this can be a little bit daunting at first, I think. Like, everyone's gonna have some growing pains when you first do a rando.
Oh yeah, if you've never played a rando before, every rando's tricky, but I would say this is one of the easier and more accessible randomizers. Especially if you've already played the game before.
I know even my first rando run of Minish Cap took, like, an ungodly amount of time. I had to do it over, like, quite a few sessions, even though those sessions were, like, roughly 2 hours in length each, was because that's just how I felt, how much time I felt I could budget for it. What am I doing? I have an ocarina. I can go anywhere I
You have
want.
the ocarina.
I'm also probably gonna show off something in Lake, which I don't have to do anymore because I have the boots.
Oh, yes.
But I'm going to show this fun little thing off anyways, because you can do it. The game doesn't expect you to do it. And the randomizer doesn't even expect you to do it, damn it. I've totally whiffed that jump.
Yeah, well, we knew about this little interaction here, but just didn't want people to assume you couldn't do this, so we never put it into logic. But you can hop down off this ledge here into the lake.
Yeah, so if you want to do the Minish checks, which normally you would need to break that tree with the Pegasus boots, like you saw me do in the castle, in order to swim around the lake as a Minish. But if you already have the Ocarina, which would be logically after Pegasus boots, then you can just jump down from that ledge and do those.
You might think that you would be stuck right now, because if you... the only spot to regrow is that tree you haven't bonked into, so surely if you haven't bonked into the tree, you can't regrow at it. But luckily, the hitbox for being able to regrow at it is slightly bigger than the hitbox for the tree, so you can just get close enough to it, press R, and you'll kind of like regrow through the tree and hop out of it. Oh, nice! Nice element there.
Oh, was there an element on the freestanding?
Yeah, the element was on the freestanding heart piece in the middle of the lake.
I was looking at chat, I didn't notice, so that's funny. And we'll see me regrow to a normal size in just a little bit. I still want to do checking the mayor's cabin for both the inside check, which I could do right now, correct? Yeah, I could. No, I can't.
You don't
I
have
need the power bracelets.
But it's fine as junk. So.
Yeah, we don't need to worry about it. So now we'll see that if I go from the bottom, it's just big enough for me to do. But I'm gonna hit it anyways.
Yes, that's why it's not in logic, because we don't want to assume people can, try and regrow on a tree you haven't bonked into.
Mm-hmm. It's all about making sure that your player base, doesn't get any weird ideas, but rather they can learn the fun tips and tricks later, rather than having them assume that it's expected and can be done everywhere.
One of the later dungeons is right there. Temple of Droplets. It's the ice/water dungeon for this game. And it's in the middle of lake, but there's no real point going into it because there is a big door right at the very beginning of the dungeon, so you can't really do too much in that dungeon until you get the big key. So we're gonna wait to find that big key before having a go into that dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you've got more stuff to do here in town.
Yeah, I have Swiftblade to check, or at least so my tracker says, and then a few other one-off checks as well. Yeah, because I didn't come here after I got my new sword. But apparently I didn't understand what I sped through, so I had to listen to it again.
Oh yeah, just hold the A button.
And thank you, actually, for giving me a piece of heart. I'm now back at full health.
Also, 7 hearts, not too bad.
Yeah. Definitely could be a bit healthier, but actually, I don't want to do this check yet. I'm not really feeling it. I don't have the lantern yet. One thing I will do, though...
Did you do the figurine house?
I did not do the figurine house yet. Thank you for reminding me.
So, the figurine house is the house with the heart piece in town that you're like, oh, how do I get into that? And yes, you need to do 136 figurines from the figurine game to be able to get... The reward from the figurine game is the Karlov medal.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what opens this house up. And because you found the Karlov medal when you were over in Western Woods, then you... that opens that house up. And yeah, there's just 3 chests there.
Yeah. And probably, more importantly, the heart piece. But then another interesting thing is that it has the sound check for the game. So if you interacted with the gramophone there on the screen, you could listen to all the tracks in the video game.
And some unused tracks as well.
Yeah. One was Lost Woods, if I'm correct, right?
It's the OOT credits, and specifically the mid-section where it does, like, the Lost Woods interlude. But as you listen to it more, you can tell that it's the scene in the OOT credits when everyone's in Lon Lon Ranch and they're gathering around
Yeah.
the bonfire. It's that exact section.
SMW Dreams? No, it's not the original 127. You do need all 136 from after you beat the game as well.
No, that's Dreamy's right.
Oh, he's right?
Hi, Dreamy. Dreamy's a speedrunner for Minish Cap.
Here I am trying to correct a speedrunner, but... So you can get it even earlier than that, but if you finish the game, then you have to get those extra figurines.
Yes, 6 of the figurines are unlocked by beating the game. So there's 130 that you can collect before you beat the game, and you don't get the Karlov medal, but you can still talk to this guy that lets you into the house. It's a little bit complicated, and
I'm just trying to think about
it's a weird quirk.
where else I have to go. I could go to the moat up in north because I can swim now.
Yep.
That's honestly probably going to be one of my best bets for contained checks because there's the Swordmaster there and then the 2 other ones in the moat. But I've just got a lot of everything everywhere.
You got to flippers a little bit late, so now you need to backtrack to a few places.
Yeah.
There is the you were going to underneath the library, which has 2 items.
Yeah.
There is also the moat, as you said.
Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to check those 2. Oh, I can also... Yeah, basically all the Swordmasters that I can get. Oh. Once again, I'm forgetting. I always assume I have bombs. I don't have bombs yet.
You don't know.
This is a very upsetting fact for me.
I realize how the seed's gonna be awful. We're gonna be going for 2 hours before you find some bombs.
That's going to be a major pain if that's true. I mean, I still have to be over here, so this wasn't really even worth doing. Maybe it saved like half a second. Yeah. Honestly, the figurine quest is one of the most annoying things in the game. Just because of how much you have to spend on it, or how much you have to try and game the system to get your new figurines.
So in the 100% speedrun, we do a 40-minute long RNG manipulation where we get all 136 back-to-back. We pull the lever 136 times, and we get a new one on every single pull.
Wrong area.
And it lasts 40 minutes, and it's right at the end of the speedrun.
I mean, that's definitely one of the things I'd save for last. Oh, couldn't clear that quick enough. I'm just going to check this one right now, even though I can't do a little secret check that we can explain later when we get bombs.
Yeah. There is a secret cave in this cave.
One that you're most likely not going to know of if you haven't, like, found it or at least done the randomizer. I mean, that's how I found about it.
Yeah, myself and a load of the speedrunners never knew that that cave existed until randomizer development started and the rando devs were looking into the game files and going, hey, by the way, there's a room here.
Okay.
Did you get the Lon Lon pot?
I did get the Lon Lon pot. I forgot about it, and then I went back to go get it.
Okay.
Things are still looking pretty dire in terms of next progression. So I'm gonna actually go back and check this small area. Watch it be somewhere in like the early part of Deepwood, or the one check that I can do in Krenel right now.
Yeah, there's one check in Krenel, there's one check in Deepwood, and there's one check in Droplets. It's not really much else to do. You have to pick one of them.
I know, and it's... Anyway, it's gonna be awful.
I don't think the Krenel one's too bad.
No, it's really not.
I mean, none are that awful.
Oh, that was actually pretty
Nice.
good for the Scissor People
Yeah.
fight. Okay, so that was a
Okay.
bust. I guess I could go check out the Krenel one real quick. Get some water beforehand. So, honestly, having bombs, or not having bombs, and going to Krenel right now is very sad because there's a lot of checks in Krenel and up and around that require you to have bombs to blow up a wall. And I just can't do them without bombs. So, coming here just to do a single check on the hopes that it's the one bit of progression I need is really a gamble. But given that I have the Ocarina and that makes travel basically free, as long as you have a plan out for what you want to do beforehand, that would have been rough if I didn't have the Ocarina.
Did you do Simon?
Oh, of course it would be Simon.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I wanted to
Simon.
I wanted to wait for Simon until I got my better sword, and then the better sword came and got a red sword soon after.
Yeah.
Our good friend Simon. I guess I'm gonna listen to him talk. So Simon Simulations in the normal game, you can go back an amount of times to fight increasingly more difficult hordes of monsters based on your general progression, or is it whenever you clear one, a new one is available? Because I never remember.
It's down to how much of the game you have completed.
Okay.
The game tracks its progress throughout the game, like
Okay,
depending
so-
on which dungeon you've last beat, and it just updates this memory address where it keeps track of how far through the game you are. Simon adds in more fights, more like different rounds of fights in as you go further and further through the game. But for the randomizer, we've locked it into just to be the easy one that you get right at the start. There's a slightly harder one that is also available right at the start, but we didn't allow it to show that one. But yeah, you can do Simon Fight multiple times, and you just get rupee rewards after the first time. The first time you do it, you get a piece of heart.
I'm just thinking about it, and honestly...
Yes, I was gonna say, have you done the... You did the fairy here, right?
I did the fairy here. My progression
Okay.
is either in Deepwood, on like the very early stuff, or there was one other area that I was eyeing that was like, well, there's like one thing there. But
Yeah.
honestly, I think it has to be here.
Well, it's a 50-50. It's either Templar Droplets or it's...
Oh, right, that's what it
Deepwood.
was. Temple of Droplets for the one check that I can do at this point in time.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna go around and grab
Oh, yeah.
the figurine like this.
Reminder to everyone that the cow has been named is
Mustav. We haven't talked about Mustav too much, but Mustav lives on in our hearts as our best companion. With us through thick and thin, through all these hazardous areas and just incredibly dangerous situations that a cow should really not have joined us along with. But I guess we have some hay in our pocket or something? Or whatever it is that cows like to eat. Something is making Mustav follow us through all of this for absolutely zero reason.
Okay, so we are 40... Oh, you do have a small key, that's right.
I have a singular small key, that is correct.
I didn't realize you had a small key for Deepwood.
Nope, I do, and so that means there's one more check that I can do. No,
No,
two.
there's two more.
Two more
And you can
checks.
see a third one.
Yeah, but I can't quite
I
get
didn't-
it yet.
Did not realize you had a...
It's just that I didn't want to come here. But... So, obviously, the seed was very kind to us at the extremely early game, because exactly right after it was going to put something in a dungeon that, or either of two dungeons I didn't want to visit until I got more. Which is just the randomizer brain kicking in saying, you shouldn't go here until you can do a lot more. But there's bombs!
Okay.
Finally! And since I'm here, I might as well do this one. Oh, and then I could
bombs is
even...
opening a lot.
Yeah, I could even take care of... Yeah, I think I'm gonna just walk back through and do the one other bomb check that I can do here right now. Which is... Also, we should probably explain what we can do with bombs, aside from just bombing things. So, in the overworld, oh, well, oh, I thought someone else was going to chime in. In the game, there's various dust particles that cover up switches and swap tiles and whatnot, and most people think that because you get the gust jar in the dungeon and then bombs afterwards, that you can only clear those with the gust jar. But the truth is that you can also clear them with bombs, which is honestly a fact that a lot of people starting out on the randomizer don't seem to realize. I think that might have impacted me at one point as well, but honestly, it's been so long ago since I've done my first seed, I can't remember all the way back.
Yeah, so the you're able to get to this back section of Minish Village by blowing up some bombs, using bombs to blow up some bombable blocks, and just to avoid the player having to exit out of Minish Woods and go all the way around to the backside to be able to blow up those bombs and get to this section, we just made it so that the curtain opens, so that you're able to get here through both of the entrances. That's also why the entrance to Deepwood Shrine, the Minish Vestari blocks moves out of the way when you get the flippers, because you can enter the backside of his house with the flippers.
Yeah.
So it's just like little things like these that were added to the rando just to avoid confusion and avoid having to go around just because you got an item.
Oh, I need to be big for that. So I should be able to blow this up. And then let's say we go off to Krenel, huh? Oh, but I should blow up a few things along the way. Make a bit of a detour.
I think we've got some more announcements to be made, though.
Yeah,
we've got some time here.
Ooh. Yeah, if anyone has any announcements that need to be made, feel free. You can always interrupt us. I shouldn't have done that like that. Oh, ooh. Guess we don't have too much.
But yeah, what you did pick up was the Templar Droplets big key.
Which I should instead... Actually, no, hold on. I'm low health. I have the money for it. I should buy a heart container.
Yeah, getting that heart container is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
8 hearts going into Temple of Droplets is much nicer. Especially... oh yeah, you do have the boomerang as well.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to have a fairy as well.
Though, since I've warped here, fairies aren't in decently ready supply in this area. But whatever the reason, whatever the preparation, we're here in Temple of Droplets, a very pretty dungeon and a very loaded dungeon on these settings.
Yeah, it's so good to get the boss key, because one of the first rooms that we're going to go to is just absolutely loaded with items. There's this there's this covered path where Link's going to walk in underneath some ground, and there's going to be a load of items as we walk through there, and then there's a swimming section with some waterfalls that are also going to have a load of items.
I really wish I had the lantern for this, but...
Oh yeah, I'd like to skip this until you have the lantern. That was just a...
Yeah. Just a map for either Cave of Flames or Palace of Winds.
Oh, it was the Palace one then.
Okay. Oh. Come along, Mustav. We've got items to grab. Oh. Someone has dropped from the call.
Yep, Toach's mic was just a little bit buggy, so they are leaving and re-entering the call. Oh, hello! That is
That's a combination of items to get.
Yeah, those are interesting. Lantern and grip ring. So the grip ring's gonna let us climb up climbable walls, especially in like Mount Krennel and Vale Falls. We don't have the Vale Falls Kinstone yet, so we can't go to Vale Falls. But the lantern is very interesting because the lantern's gonna let us melt ice and explore more of this dungeon.
Yeah. I won't be able to do a whole lot more, given the fact that I currently have 0 keys.
Hello.
Hello again.
Oh, welcome back.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to ghost you guys. All of my mic was just like, no, gonna do this today.
Sad.
Sorry. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's
I'm pretty-
fine.
Yep, go ahead.
You guys like heard my son too, and then it was just like, that's when my mic was like, no. I just wanted to throw out there, we haven't had a donation in quite a while. We're still going for $7,500. We are at $7,166 exactly right now, and if we make it to 7.5K by the end of the block, we will still add a game code of the winner's choice, which is up to $60 USD.
Ooh.
To the giveaways, and this is the last chance for that one. And we also just wanted to remind everyone we are raising money for Stream for a Cause. They work with nonprofit organizations, and personally, they've been amazing for us, and they change their focus each month to fit what volunteers care about, and this month it is charity gaming. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Sorry again about my weird mic stuff.
Oh no, totally fine. So, coming up...
Yeah, you found the bow.
Yeah, which... Not exactly the, I suppose, greatest item, I would say, to get, but definitely very necessary to beat the game. You need it for the final fights. And
The
I
bow
think...
has only a couple of main uses. It's mostly used in the swamp and in Fortress of Winds. You do have 2 of the kinstones for Fortress of Winds, so as soon as you find one more, you could be able to go over there. But you kind of don't until you get the mitts as well.
Yeah, I really don't want to go over there until I get mitts because of all the digging you have to do in that dungeon.
But this is the Dark Maze in Temple of Droplets. It is full of enemies, and they are very mean. You're in a tight little maze here, and there's pestos which fly over the walls and attack you from any distance, and then there's the Moldozers, which they wiggle about up and down, and they do a lot of damage, these blue Moldozers. It can be pretty brutal if the rando forces you down the dark maze path early on in the seed without a chance to...
Oh, I've already placed the bomb, but I'm just clearing the enemies out. That's my excuse. Strategic bombs. Also, I don't have Break Spin yet, which would have been much appreciated for this room. But that's another figurine down. Given my level of health, I really shouldn't be taking any chances with the enemies.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And this is why
You
Myth
don't
said
have a
I should...
fairy.
Yeah, this is why Myth heavily suggested I have a fairy coming into here, is specifically this section of the dungeon, because of just how annoying the enemies are.
Yeah, there is a pot here that you're at that if you break that, there is a heart in there. Us glitchless speedrunners know where every single heart in the game is because we're always on
right.
low health. Oh, you don't have a
Right,
have a
I don't have anything here, so we are out of
Yep.
Temple of Droplets.
Yep, you had no spookies.
Yep. So I could do more things in town, very true. However, I think I'm just gonna go for the entirety of Mount Krennel.
Yeah,
Because
it's the most dense location right now.
yeah, there's just so much there. So, and I also have a good amount more of bombs. Instead of the starting 10, I am up to 30. So this should
Yeah.
easily be enough to get me through, and the Tektites are being pests.
Oh, nice. Did you just roll lift that?
I don't think I roll lifted that, but if I did, cool.
I mean, did you do a roll when the bomb just bobbed up and down?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I think
okay.
I think I just threw it up. But like I said, if I unintentionally did a roll lift there, I wasn't even paying attention. Yes, Mustav is our very good friend along this run, and will most definitely protect us from any danger that comes our way by stalwartly defending us from any blows. Or maybe not.
I'm just
Mustav's a cow.
imagining Mustaf the cow is just judging. Well, just on the sidelines, just watching you just getting owned in like Dark Maze. It's like, yikes! It's like, ouch, you're getting real owned there.
Yeah, buddy, why do you keep letting these guys hit you? What are you doing? What's...
You're on low health, man.
Oh, I suppose something we should also mention is that rolling through enemies is something that we can do.
Oh yeah, yeah, iframes. Yeah. So this is the first in the Soulsborne series.
Kerplop, thank you for mentioning Kung Pao. It is an extremely funny, awful dub-over, and I absolutely love it. Yeah, exactly, dude. Why do you suck so much? You have a sword. Why aren't you killing the enemies? Oh, and I made mention earlier that you can blow certain particles up with bombs, and here is a perfect example of being able to do just that. So
Yeah,
we can... Oh, that worked. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we can blow up these dust clouds on Mount Krennel that are also spiky and hurt you a lot with bombs. So instead of having to come here with the gust jar and using those there, we can just blow that up if we don't have a gust jar.
Yeah, you're not used to normally coming here in the game with only the gust jar, so most people figured out how to do this section by using the gust jar. But we found the Dark Hyrule Castle boss key.
Nice!
One of the most important items to find.
Oh,
You don't
why
have
am I-
hot
what?
spring water.
I mean, I don't even need the hot spring water.
No, you have
I
the
just went
liquid spring.
I just went completely on muscle memory.
Yeah. The yeah, the best time to come to Mount Krennel is when you have the cane and the grip ring, which you have.
Yeah,
So
I have both of these things.
you get to skip all the slow sections of it, like doing the green bean section and having to climb all the way through the mountain to get to Cave of Flames. You can just use the shortcut.
I don't have to grab the Mountain Dew from the hot spring.
Yep.
And I also even have a shield.
There's a few things you can do here.
Yeah, so I've completely forgotten about the Deku Scrub just outside of Castletown. But I definitely didn't manage to forget about this guy who gave me a whole 10 free rupees. I mean, I could also go back to Lon Lon Cave, but I'm definitely not going to head back there for at least a little bit. So...
It would be a good idea to go back there when you have mitts.
So, here's our good friend that I forgot to talk to on my way across the chess, Greyblade. 4 checks in here, including himself, which is, for just this small location, pretty good. You never know what he might have.
Yeah. This is something you don't want to miss for a while, and you did just get the grip ring, so
Yeah.
head over to here. He's on this little outcropping that you have to climb up a climbable wall to get to, so you have to have the grip ring before you can get him.
So we'll just set up our return to this area right now. I mean, I technically don't even need to do this when I've just gotten the Wind Crest, but given where I'll end up, it's honestly just much more preferred to do this. So the reason I set my quick warp there is much like how I set my quick warp over in Castor Wilds, which is, since Mount Krenel is one large giant area with very few loading zones in it, if I didn't do that, another collapse top skinstone, I would have quick warped and gone all the way back down to the bottom of the mountain. But
We're also on the nice figuring count. Sorry.
oh yes, I am.
I'm a child.
We're all children at heart when we see the funny number. Sadly, we don't get to see the other funny number.
We have a $30 donation that just came in
Ooh,
from Naran? Naran?
Naran.
Naran, sorry. Thank you. Thanks, Naran. No comment, but thank you for the $30. And
Yeah.
we're getting closer to the 7.5k mark, which will equal super spicy, super spicy Twinkie time. You know you want that to happen.
Is
Spoopy.
is Spooper what Whooper is going as for Halloween?
You were right the first time.
But yes, thank you, Naran. It's great to see you. Our fun orange man. And so,
Yeah, we're about to hit the Beanstalk here in Krenel. Again, another Rupee Mania location and with just a ton of items. So what are we gonna get here?
we are going to get some more figurines. Nothing too exciting, but we had to come up here anyways, and there's Great Spin.
Great Spin.
So,
Great Spin's so good for doing fights in this game.
yeah,
It just makes all fights easy.
yeah, so for those who have played Wind Waker or any other Zelda game where if you initiate a Great Spin and you finish it afterwards, you might find that you enter a dizzied state and can't move for a while. However, Minish Cap Link just has, like, better eardrums so that he doesn't lose his balance as much. Oh!
no!
Oh!
You can't go back!
No!
You can't go back!
Oh,
you
no!
have to climb up again! That's
Oh, my.
hilarious! That is such a good spot to find the mitts!
Oh my god.
So, there is a digging cave at the top of Mount Krenel that we were just at, but because we flung ourselves across to the other side of the mountain with the mushroom, we can't go back!
So I have to climb the entire wall all over again just to get the one singular check that may or may not be anything. Oh, this is just Palace of Winds 2.0 from the last seed.
We got the digging mitts. They let us dig into digging caves and dig ground, dig spots in the ground, and it's like a super shovel.
Yeah.
And it is one of the best items to get in these settings because there's just so much locked by digging.
But we jumped, like Miss said, we jumped across the gap from the one side of the mountain to the other, which is a one-way from that side. So we had to climb all the way back up here You know, I'm still not at 10 hearts yet. It'd be really a shame to leave this behind. I mean, yes, there is a mushroom, but the fact is, I don't think it's long enough for the gust jar to be able to get to you.
You can't jump back the other way.
Yeah, you also just can't jump either. Oh no.
Oh, wrong spot.
Yeah, I never remember that it's in the center there.
There you go. Oh, there's another one back over by Malaria in the middle.
Oh, I also always forget that one. Thank you.
Yes, so in this room there are 8 digging spot items. This is what obscure locations is about. It's one of the settings in the randomizer. So yeah, this is really obscure, but there are these 8 like precise spots that you have to dig on to get items. In the vanilla game, they're just kinstones, but like they're permanent kinstones. Once you pick them up once, you can never come and pick them up again. Yeah, they get randomized when you turn on obscure locations.
Yeah, little foo. That's what we were worried about. Okay,
Ooh.
there's our probable next best bet to go.
Yeah. Veil Falls, when we go over there, there's gonna be a lot of items.
There's even more items. So, I have enough to go halfway through Cave of Flames, so I think that's what I'm going to do. And then afterwards I can head over to Veil Falls.
I mean, yeah, you do have one small key, so you can hit the blue warp, the halfway point of the dungeon.
Yeah.
All
We have
of
another
these...
donation,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
if I can interrupt.
Sure.
Pepster donated $10
Oh.
and said, "Loving the content. It's an actual skeleton playing video game."
Yeah.
Thank
thanks.
you, Pepster.
Yeah, thanks, Peppy. Didn't expect anyone else to show up from that server, so nice to see people. I just completely lost my train of thought. Veil
In
Falls?
all of the dungeons of in this game, there are 2 warp paths. There's a blue warp and a red warp. Various other Zelda games have these kinds of warps, like Link's Awakening. That's it, and Oracle's. The Oracle games, I'm pretty sure, have them as well. The blue warp is normally about halfway through the dungeon, and the red warp is kind of just before the boss for the dungeon.
This probably is going to be an unwise idea for myself. Don't have Rock Breaker yet. So, actually, I have Sword Beam.
Nice.
So, if these little gremlins want to cooperate, which they are not,
Classic Helmasaurs.
and I don't have... Oh! One
Nice.
cooperated.
Yeah, those Helmasaurs are not fun to fight if you don't have the Gust Jar, which lets you suck their helmets off, and also you can just suck them up completely and use them as a projectile and fire them at another one. We also like remote bombs, because then we can just spam the bomb button and just like explode ourselves right on top of them and they die.
And if you have enough health, that's an entirely valid strat for clearing any room, because you're likely to find either a fairy drop somewhere, pass by a fairy fountain, or find a piece or full heart container just along the way during your travels. So
This game is very, very nice when it comes to heart pieces and heart containers. All you need to do is find a heart piece, and it fully restores all your health. Oh, speaking
Yeah.
Flames Victory, it's very convenient. We won't be able to make use of that straight away. We do need to get another small key before we can get to the section where the boss is.
Okay, these guys, the Rollerbites are just being mean now.
I just wanted to throw out there that we are past the 7,200 mark,
Ooh.
which means we're only $294 away from the 7.5K mark for Spooper Spicy Twinkie time. Just wanted to throw it out there.
I assume that's going to be our good foodies whose names I don't remember, having some very spicy snacks.
I'm assuming. I'm not really sure, but it sounds horrible and amazing at the same time. So.
Oh, I also love riding on the minecarts in here because any followers you have along with you also, once again, match your speed and your actions. So you get to see the fastest cow you've ever seen just zoom along the rails here.
It's schmoving.
Yes, Mustav is moving.
And just one last, two more items left to find.
And then we can make our trek over to Vale Falls and then up to the clouds. And it's honestly probably pretty good that I got Great Spin just a while ago.
Oh yeah, Great Spin makes all these fights so much easier.
So, Peril Beam, good.
And just before we leave the dungeon, I'm just going to hop over here and hit the switch to activate the blue orb. And it's going to be the halfway point so we can leave the dungeon and come back whenever we want.
I've just seen the item screen, and of course, I'm missing my perennial late item. Yo, Sturm! You're here! Okay. You came at a good time, because we're about to head up to Vale Falls, which has a buttload of checks.
It is going to be loaded.
Especially since we have the mitts, we don't have to miss out on some of our obscure checks here. And we also have the flippers, which means we also don't get to miss out on those. The only check we really get to miss out on here is one that we need the blue sword for yet.
Yes, the cliff chest. Luckily, it's right by a wind crest, which means we can fast travel back to it.
Yeah.
We didn't really mention about wind crests earlier, but we can only fast travel to wherever the wind crests are, and we need to activate the wind crest first before we can fast travel back to it.
So I'm going to want... Right, still no rock breaker. But I'll pick up a bomb refill for my troubles. And a bit more money for our time, even though we're basically done with money at this point. Because what was on Shop 600 wasn't important.
Yes, it was... Nothing else is in the shop. It's quite rare for this rando to have something required on the boss... on the shop. Despite, if you watch the tournament matches, there seems to always be required items on the shops. Especially Lantern. Lantern has been there two races recently.
Oh. That's definitely an interesting place.
On shop 600, both times. It was 600 for
oh,
the Lantern.
jeez.
Yep.
Oh, and we've got our friend the Big Butterfly.
Ooh, the big butterfly. The misspelt big butterfly.
And that's our third library book. So now, should be able to, when we go back to town... Oh, I guess I went up.
Nice. This, in this rando, we made the the item pickups super fast. So to make sure that you see the important information of what you picked up, we made a little text log in the bottom left of that. Lets you see what the items are, because you can zoom through the text very quickly by accident, especially the kinstones and keys and all of that jazz.
So now we're about to get to Cloud Tops, which has arguably some of the best music in the game. Oh, right. We didn't really explain what the butterfly actually does. So,
Oh.
because we picked up the butterfly, specifically it was the dig butterfly, it makes it so that we can take all of our actions that are digging faster. I suppose what it actually is it shortens the animation. Or is that just
It
for the
shortens
bow?
the cooldown, so you can just... It lets you dig faster. If you remember how fast we were digging earlier, we're going to be digging through a lot of these.
Yeah. Things are going to
Digging
be...
through these clouds a lot faster.
Yeah.
Oh! What happened to the sprites there? All the Kinstone sprites got changed to beanstalks.
Oh.
Went golden. That was weird. But yes, there are 3 butterflies in this game.
Hey.
There's
Look at
the
that.
Mist butterfly, the bow butterfly, and the flippers butterfly, which let you, those respectively let you fire arrows faster and swim faster. But yeah, we found the blue sword, which means we can create another clone. Certain block pushing puzzles in this game require you to have 2 extra clones, as well as Link, to be able to complete not just one single clone.
Yes. When I was doing test seeds, Sneaky noticed that some of the Kinstone visuals were glitching out for a little bit. So it seems that it's still happening.
I don't know what's wrong with your Bizzle.
There's a lot wrong with it seems. I think I might
Okay.
need to get a different version.
So there's the Swamp Kinstone, that's the last one, so now you can go to Fortress of Winds. And there's another small key for Fortress as well.
Another small key? You mean...
That means
oh
you've got
no,
3.
right. I do have 3. Which means I'm more... I would be willing to go there a lot more now since I have 3, but that's still
Wait.
not...
Are you on? Yes, you are.
But there's still so much more of the map open, which is honestly very nice, given our initial woes of where's our one little tiny piece of progression just past the early game.
So you do need all keys to be able to get everything in Fortress of Winds. However, you could decide to go there now and do some cheeky save scums to see what the items are in some of the sections locked by keys. And if there's nothing behind them, then it means that you get to full clear the dungeon and leave.
I do. Which would
But
be...
in the meantime, Cloudtops is got a lot of items.
If only we could get the last Kinstone up here. Oh yeah, Lakitu is here. Capcom once again decided, let's just put in a Mario enemy into the Zelda game.
There's Bob-ombs as well. So
yeah, those were Bob-ombs that we were encountering in Cave of Flames. And
it's
so
not the first time, but
Oh.
yeah, Capcom likes to put these in. Oh, hello.
that's a nice element. So what I've been trying to do with those piranha fish is they try and path to you as best they can, and then try and leap out of the clouds to harm you. But you can use that to your advantage by standing right next to the edge. I didn't want to do that. So you don't have to have your sword out to swipe them when they come up from the clouds. You can just make them throw themselves off the edge, which is a little morbid, but when you
It
don't...
is the best strat. Just let themselves jump off the ledge.
It's the best, but really we shouldn't be trying to encourage it for them.
Really, we want to be doing Cloudtops with 2 items, the mitts and the cape, so that we can jump around and dig through all the clouds. We don't want to have to pause and equip any other items, so if we don't have to equip the sword, then that's best for these fights. That's this, that is Cloudtops over, so you did get the blue sword, so you can get this cliff chest now.
Yeah, I might as well since I'm in the area. And then I can... I still have only a singular small key for droplets, so I think I'd be hesitant to continue on my way in the lake area.
Yeah, droplets isn't a great one to go back for. You've got a lot of better stuff to go and do.
I've got a lot of things in town as I perform a dance with that lever.
Yeah, the levers in this room are not nice. It is quite an awful check to do sometimes.
And you know, I'm still going to go there, but no. You know what? I'm going to do a little bit of stuff here, and then I'm going to come back.
You have Hype Cave. So this is the North Lake Hylia Treasure Cave. There are a lot of items in here.
So this is the rough equivalent to the Link to the Past Hype Cave. So, a lot of items in just a single cave, obviously. But...
Palace Smoke.
And a Palace Bit Key, even.
Oh, very nice. We still need one more Kinstone before we can get to Palace of Winds. And Palace of Winds has 6 small keys, so... What are we on now? 2? That's not very many.
No, it's definitely not, but...
And you need a minimum of 4 small keys to get to the boss, with 2 letting you go down a branching path. So you really don't want to go there with a small amount of keys.
No, you'd much rather go there when you have, like, at least 4, but ideally, like, 5 or even just max keys to guarantee you can clear through the entire dungeon.
Definitely.
You also generally want your power bracelets, but I'll leave that hope for finding it before we head there this time.
Oh, you're also on 12 hearts.
Yes,
when you get 10 hearts in this rando, you can go to Waveblade, which is one of the dojos, and the dojo in the lake. And after you've got 10 hearts, you talk to him, and he'll give you an item.
I see people talking about our good friend Mushu.
Hello!
Mustav's alternative name. And yes, hello, Four-Sword. This slightly changes things, but isn't, like, a major detour that I'm going to have to make.
You do have the power bracelet.
Oh, I keep forgetting.
Where did you find that?
That was in Link's Puddle Cave at the direct start of the game.
Wait, it was? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, jeez. I think I'm still broken from last seed.
Yeah.
That was such an experience having to go do Palace halfway through again that I just blocked out having power bracelets.
Yeah, I mean, I blocked out you having power bracelets because I was like, oh no, you can't do the, you can't do the lake cabin, you don't have the power bracelets.
Oh, that was the western puddle and not the Link's puddle?
Oh, it was after,
Well, seems like it was
well,
in
you got it.
a puddle. I also forgot about my quick warp. I'm just going to clear up a little bit more in Monlon Ranch, specifically starting out here. I'm going to do our good secret cave that nobody knows about.
Yeah, so people who've played this game a lot, let us know if you ever found this cave. So there's just like an invisible bombable wall on the side here. With no indication that there was a cave here, but you can come into here and then light these torches and grab an item. In the vanilla game, it was just a blue kinstone, so you didn't need to come and get here.
Yeah. And then... we can do that and grab a map, but there's still one cave that I need to check here in Lower Vale Falls.
Yep. Yeah, this cave over here has 2 chests.
And I've already talked with the Blade Master here, so I don't need to talk to him again.
Oh yeah, what we're doing now kind of like doesn't make sense if you haven't played the game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all of the plot is basically cut out of the rando. Basically, Vati's the evil villain of this game instead of Ganon, and he's got Zelda cooked up in Hyrule Castle, and we're trying to save her.
Yeah. So you need to go around and get the Forest Sword, which is obviously one of the last things you get because you have to visit the Elemental Shrine, which is in Hyrule Castle, in order to upgrade your sword. But depending on your settings, you can have items there, and you don't need to have items there. And there's something that I'm very glad I got before heading into Fortress of Winds. We got our remote bombs.
Yes.
So we'll elaborate on why having remote bombs for the path going there is important when we actually go there. And since they have so much health, I'm just going to be...
We like it when we get our remote bombs. We get to do rooms like this much faster than if we had to place each bomb and wait for it to explode one at a time.
I'm also going to clean up a few extra other checks in the north so that I don't have to return here.
Yeah.
There's one of our palace keys, though.
Very nice.
And then remember when we came here all the way back at the start of the seed, and there was a Swordmaster down here, and we just didn't talk to him? It's because we couldn't actually... he couldn't see. His room is a little dark, and we need to light the torches in here first.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I can't trade in this darkness. I can't even see you. Yeah. We light those torches, and then he's like, oh, I can see. I can teach you how to do the sword cube.
It's also interesting that he's just living on the castle grounds, just hiding under some bushes. Like, shouldn't somebody have found out by now? Doesn't he, like, need to crawl out for food? Like, how does he survive down there? And going back to when I explained the sub-pixel wall clip, you can also do that to talk to the librarian backwards, which is something you're not normally expected to do. You're supposed to face our lovely library lady here, and
we're gonna see Yalari.
Yeah, we finally get to see Yalari, the true final boss of this video game.
Yalari is the best chick in the game.
Because
we hand in all the books and then we just talk to this Minish here. It gives us an item.
Yeah. Which was a figurine, which was required this time. Sometimes Yalari can have your Force Sword, just randomly. Which is really interesting when you know the context of how much people like or don't like to check Yalari.
Yalari is a fan favorite.
And now I can clear that out.
Is that bottle percent?
That is indeed bottle percent.
Nice. Yep, that's all 4 bottles. And is it true bottle percent? Because you got the...
Yes, it is true bottle percent because I've also fed Fifi, the shopkeeper's dog, that he just leaves alone in his lakeside cabin. Poor Fifi is so hungry. But if we sneak into the back of his shop in the normal game and pick up the bottle of dog food, he comments that you really shouldn't be back there. But as well as you are and you picked up the dog food, could you please feed my dog? You can keep the bottle afterwards. It depends on how...
missing the jar again.
Yes,
I mean, yeah.
I'm missing the jar again. What would give you that illusion, Salus? The Rock, I don't know when you stepped out, but we've definitely gotten a new sword recently, which has allowed us to do some things. And we got some remote bombs, which allow us to control when we blow up our bombs, which is rather helpful in some rooms. And now we're also clearing out one of the longer town checks. Is it even the longest one in town? Also, I don't know why I pulled that one all the way down there. I thought it was the actual pillar.
This is definitely not one of the longer town checks. Fountain's definitely the longest.
Also, I should probably explain why I kept stopping when I was pulling that pillar with the chest on it. If you are pulling items in the game, usually the animation between pulling and then allowing you to pull again is fairly long. But if you pull the tower and then stop yourself, the game stops the continuous pulling animation and just returns you back to idle, which then allows you to start pulling the tower sooner again. The only check left is the doctor left. So I think, just given the nature of the seed, I should probably go talk to our good doctor.
So that pulling technique was discovered by a runner called Literal Bacon, and it's known as bacon pulling.
I don't need to do that. But what I do need to equip is my bombs. Yes, I did actually do Fountain much earlier in the seed, and it didn't have anything of worth.
Yeah, we started the seed with Kane and Kate, which means that you get to go to Fountain early, and normally you put off Fountain for a long time because you need to... There's various different items needed to get all of the locations that are located in the Fountain. But because we just happened to have to start with the items we needed to full clear it, we went there early.
Yeah. And also, I suppose we should explain that even though we have the Force Sword, some checks are expected to have you have a different level of sword. So some might require you to have the red sword and the blue sword, but also be required for progression, like Dr. Left there, because as you saw, the book changed into a figurine. So you're only expected to have 2 clones at that point. So in order to make it so that logically you could do it at any time, no matter what sword you have, some rooms and puzzles were limited instead of making you have all your clones out to just the required number.
Yeah. Yeah, that item there was like you dropping the book down, and it's done during the book quest before you get the flippers, and that is a section of the game where you only have the red sword, and Nintendo assumes, the person's never going to have a higher level sword and be able to create more clones.
Oh yes, and yes, it is like the guy from SimCity, but yes, it's not Dr. Wright, which is in that game.
It's Dr. Left.
Yeah, because Will Wright, Dr. Wright, but they couldn't do that, I assume, due to legal reasons, so they had to make somebody else.
Oh no, it wasn't due to legal reasons, it was just an Easter egg.
Oh, well, egg on my face. And I'm just gonna go talk to Great Uncle Herbert, because I have 8 scrolls. So, when you get 7 scrolls in the normal game, you can come talk to Swiftblade the First and learn how to do the Great Spin, which we already know. But in the randomizer, they've also made it so that, depending on any of your other sword upgrades, such as Fast Spin, Fast Split, all those also count as scrolls. So you can get to him a lot easier, but that also just depends on how early or not you get 7 scrolls.
Yeah, in the vanilla game, there are, as he said, 7 scrolls to collect, and then the 8th scroll is the Great Spin. And then there are 3 hidden dojos which are only discovered by doing fusions, and they give you upgrades to your spin scroll, which is
Fast spin.
fast spin, fast split,
Yep.
and long spin. And in the vanilla game, those aren't considered to be scrolls that are part of the requirement to get to the great spin. But in the rando, we changed it, so there's now like 11 scrolls total in the game to collect, and we just need to find a total of 7.
We
But
are.
Doctor Left is a recurring character because it's in the Oracle games as well. Capcom put them in, not just Minish Cap.
And we are now up to
Ooh.
4.
Oh, hello. I think I know where you're going next.
It would probably be a good idea to, yes, but I think I have to make another pit stop first. Sadly, because of where I put myself, I'm going to have to warp around a little bit. But I've still got a little bit of cleanup left to do in Western Woods. Because I both didn't have the mitts, and I didn't have the bombs at that point. So now we get to see why having the mitts before you head into Western Woods is a really good idea. Because there's 6 checks here,
There's another bow.
and there's long spin, and a Temple of Droplets small key, but... And then there's 2 more digging spots over here. And then I still have to get my 1 bomb check. And also, as Mr. Mario pointed out, I didn't have my lamp yet either. You know what? I have to go in here anyways, because I forgot.
Yes, the scrub.
I'll trade 20 rupees for 20 rupees. That sounds like a very good deal.
Outstanding move, sir.
And then we finally get this cave. And my quick warp should still be exactly where I left it at Castor, but I'm just going to dash around a bit. And we're going to say hi to, honestly, probably one of the few checks in the game
I don't know
people...
why you're doing Percy. Percy doesn't have anything. Come on, we all know this. Just
I
skip
mean,
Percy.
we all know that Percy has nothing, but you always have to check Percy, because Percy might have something. Myth, I suppose you're going to have to elaborate on that for everyone else who doesn't exactly know about what's going on.
Jabberna.
Yep, one of also the least useful items in the game.
So the Jabberna is one of the first items you get in Minish Cap. It lets you talk to the Minish and is useful in one spot to make the Thessari, one of the Minish that is blocking the way to Deepwood Shrine, the first dungeon. If you have the Jabberna, it makes them to the side so that you can get to the first dungeon.
And
However,
I mean,
you can also get to the first dungeon by swimming to there, by going around them if you have the flippers. So, to get to the first dungeon, you either need the flippers or you need the Jabberna. And it's just very common that you're going to find the flippers first, way before you find a Jabberna, and yeah.
yeah, 9 times out of 10 you're going to find your flippers before the Jabbernut, so actually having a required Jabbernut is a very rare occurrence.
The Jabbernut's the meme item. It's funny.
But soon I'll be able to actually talk about why I wanted remote bombs for coming here. Which is, so those Armo statues that was blocking my way before and that I'm crawling into now to turn on their helmet, I suppose. There's a small group of them later on that block the way to 2 chests. And you could either fight them normally
You need
with
to
a sword.
You
I-
need to turn the armors back on.
Oh,
You
because...
did it the wrong way around.
Of course I did it the wrong way around. Yeah, Percy did have a figurine, but that's not fun requirement. You want to talk about fun requirement, Percy should have given me a Gus jar.
The joke in the randomizer community for this game is that Percy is junk and never has progressive items. And the reason for that is because there was a bug in the rando code which went unseen for a long time, and everyone was going, "Huh! Every time I go to Percy, I keep on getting this blue rupee. That's like the only item that they ever get from there." And it turns out the randomizer code didn't place the randomized item that was supposed to go on to Percy actually onto the memory address for Percy. So Percy was just giving the vanilla item every time. And it was only discovered because someone actually had an unbeatable seed, because their force sword was on it was on Percy.
But it couldn't actually get put there.
No, but when they checked the spoiler log, they were like, "Hang on, how? Like, I can't do anything else in the seed." They checked the spoiler log and was like, "Where's my sword?" It's like, "Wait, it's on Percy." But I went there and it was, I got the item from Percy, and then yeah, we looked into it and it's like, "Oh yeah." Someone wrote a typo as they were, making the for the rando. So yeah, so for many versions of the rando, Percy always just gave junk, and the joke stuck even after we fixed Percy and made it actually randomized.
So that's why I wanted remote bombs before I came here, because Armoses blow up with a single bomb, and I just get to walk along in a straight line and just blow them up. It's just so much faster than having to fight them all individually.
Remote bombs is very fun to have.
Call me David? Yes, I would say that this game is a lot of fun. I very much enjoy it. It's one of the...
It certainly isn't. It's pain and misery. Don't play this.
Myth, that's just because you roll bad seeds.
It's because I'm a speedrunner. Have you seen my Vati RNG?
I mean, Vati RNG is usually not the nicest.
But joking aside, this game is absolutely great fun to play.
Yeah, on a normal level, on a randomizer level. On a randomizer, it feels great because depending on how many settings you put on, you can just have a ton of items everywhere, and you're like getting checks like every 1 minute, every like 5 seconds, depending on where you are. Alright, also, wizards out there, if you're ever playing a wizard in any role-playing game, please make sure that your cloaks are asbestos lined, because some little kid might come along and light your robes on fire, thus causing you to immediately die.
So we were talking about the figurines earlier, and the figurines represent all of like the NPCs, the enemies, and the places in the game. And the figurine, you can go into this machine and view all of the figurines that you've collected. And it has a little entry and a description for all of the things. The description for the Wizrobes mentions that they are weak to fire. So you can turn the lantern on and walk through the Wizrobes, and they just instantly die. Really fun thing is the fire Wizrobes are also vulnerable to fire.
Slim, yes, this randomizer does in fact have an auto tracker, or it has a map tracker. It also has, depending on what emulator you use, it also has an auto tracker. So I'm not having to check off anything that I get. The game is already doing it for me.
Yep. All you need to do is play with the BizHawk emulator and Emo Tracker. So if you're used to playing randos of pretty much any game, you've heard of Emo Tracker. And there is a Minish Cap package for Emo Tracker, which is just downloadable through Emo Tracker software.
And one of the few rooms in the game where light arrows truly does help. because you are required to fight 2 Igors, and the light arrows, if you charge them up, can one-shot any enemy?
Not any enemy.
Not any enemy, okay.
No, it just happens to be that Igors die in 1 hit.
So I'm also going to set up another save point here, because... Never mind.
Oh, never mind.
We actually need
This is
to...
Yeah, this is a long cutscene, and it's faster to save right before this cutscene and just reset and load your file than to watch the item drop all the way down.
And then have you drop all the way down, and then continue on your way. So if the item there isn't anything worth your while, and you've already saved there, then you're good to go.
There is a Minish Cap Randomizer Discord. If it is okay, I can post a link in chat.
Yeah, that was something that I wanted to talk about as well. There's a lot of good info for if you're just trying to start out, and everyone is really helpful if you have questions, but honestly, one thing that I see all the time is that we do have a document that has a lot of locations and everything explained, and it's really good to check that first, because I'm not trying to be mean here, but when you constantly see a easily answered question that's in the FAQ, general chat can sometimes get filled with, check the FAQ. Hey, check the FAQ. Which is obviously no fault of anyone else's, but it's interesting. Oh, and I don't have the Gust Jar yet. Sad. I wanted to have the Gust Jar by this point. Now I only have to talk about what we could do. So, Gust Jar is a fun item, and walls and layering in this game is also very fun. So, when we were in Mount Krenel, we walked by a mushroom on the way up of climbing the walls. And mushrooms don't really care about what layer they're on. They'll always be able to interact with you on whatever layer you are on. So you can use your Gust Jar to grab at the mushroom and kind of cheat your way up the side of a wall. And I gave this guy a swipe of the sword, and he just politely moved over 1 space to the right so that I could pull the lever.
So yeah, if you check out chat, there is a Discord link to the Minish Cap Rando Discord. Yeah, if you head over to that Discord, and in one of the top channels is Rando Info, and go to the top of that channel, and there is a installation guide and FAQ that will have all of the answers to the questions you have, or you can also just ask in the general chats as well. There is someone that is able to, that will always be happy to help out a new person and help you with any issues you might have. And
Yeah.
also, there's just a bunch of links.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
My question is, I've never played a randomizer. Would it be safe to say that you should play a randomizer if you know the game, the basic game, pretty well already?
I'd say it would really help because you're already familiar with everywhere you'd already have to go.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Basically, pick your favorite Zelda game, or your favorite game that a randomizer exists for, and then play the randomizer for that one, because you're going to know that game the best.
Gotcha.
And the more information you already know about the randomizer, or like the base game, the better equipped you're going to be for the randomizer.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
For Minish Cap, a lot of people come in and say, it's like, oh yeah, I remember playing this game 10 years ago, and then they jump straight into the randomizer. I still recommend you do like a recent playthrough. So even if it's a game that you've just recently finished the vanilla playthrough of the game for, it's a good idea to, if you still really like that game, have a try of the randomizer.
Cool. And is this randomizer fairly new?
It is 3 years old. It is one of the newer ones of the Zelda randomizers.
Yeah, and I found out about this roughly around the time of the last tourney, I think, or maybe it was the first tourney. I don't know. But I found out about it because Minish Cap VOD just made its way into my YouTube recommended list. I was like, oh, Minish Cap, that has a randomizer? I want to take a look at this. And the rest is just from there. Oh.
Oh, nice.
That's...
You got a mushroom from the boss.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm just gonna grab it. Might as well.
So yeah, there is an ongoing tournament at the moment for Minish Cap Rando. It's held on ZSR. The grand finals are happening this week.
Ooh. We already had all of the semi-final qualifier matches?
Yes, we are down to the final two.
Ah. Very interesting. I'll have to see if I can make it for that. See it live.
The grand finals is going to be scheduled for this coming Wednesday.
So, yeah, that's very nice. And don't worry, I'm going back to the dungeon. It's just that since we were right outside.
Oh, you've got 11 T1 figurines.
Ah, yes, 11 to 1. Very nice. We're closing in on the figurine numbers here. Oh. Nope, don't want to do that quite yet. I want to do it right now. So, we talked a little bit about it earlier.
Oh yeah,
but
the save scum.
I only have 3 keys, and in order to get all the items in this dungeon, I need 4 keys. So, instead of bailing out of here now, and having to required come back, if the game is nice enough to me, I might not need to do one side of the dungeon, so I can just use up to 3 of my keys, and ignore the rest.
So what we need for Go mode is we're going to need a lot of keys, that's the thing. Depending on what we find here, we're going to need to find another Fortress Small Key. Out of the main items, we need the Gust Jar, we need the last Cloudtop's Kinstone, and we need the Graveyard Key. They're the 3 main items that we're going to need to find. We also need to find 23 more figurines. Yeah, I would say reset anyway, just so that you know that there's a figurine there.
Yeah, just do
and then you can clear the rest of the dungeon.
Yeah, just do the right side, clear it out, because the left side is a lot better to just speed through.
You can save before the last key door that you open, because then if that's junk...
Yeah, and then I can just get the other figurine.
Yeah.
It's the last-ditch effort here. This is probably the dungeon that has the most use of save scumming out of, like, all of the dungeons.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but can you dash across that just by rolling in the normal game?
Yes.
Okay. Because I remember as a young child not being able to pull that off, and as I was like, oh, if only you had some way to go really fast. Which was the Pegasus boots, but...
Yeah.
Obviously, if you don't need the Pegasus boots, and you can just roll. That's something that I learned about the randomizer. It's like, oh, I always thought you needed the Pegasus boots there, but you don't? Interesting.
No, you don't necessarily need the Pegasus boots. Okay, just checking your key count. Yeah, so theoretically you don't need any more small keys for Palace of Winds. You need to get the Deepwood Shrine boss key. Absolutely 100% you need that.
Yep, because
you also need to find one more small key for Cave of Flames.
Yep.
And and you need to find 2 more Royal Crypt small keys. These are absolutely required. You have to find these keys to be able to beat the game. The other keys in other dungeons may or may not be necessary depending on what is found there.
And hi, Luna. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for helping review my gameplay a little bit.
The task low percent. Well, I haven't started working on that. And it's not exactly new because the discovery was made in December last year, but
Okay, so the reason why I lamented not having Gust Jar when I came here is, like I said, walls sometimes are just a suggestion, and you can grab this jar from the other side, just through the wall. The jar will phase through the wall as well, and if...
Oh, yeah, good job on saving.
I almost forgot about it. Let's see. Cool. This is great.
Excellent.
This is amazing. I don't have to come back here.
Cool.
PK, I've definitely been doing a fair amount of practice seeds, but I found myself kind of, I guess, stagnating really quickly because all my times just ended up being around 3 hours. However, I've been told that that's basically the time you should be shooting for if you're fairly well seasoned at the game for a 100% max setting seed.
Yes, I've done these kinds of seeds for marathons before, and my goal was to try and get a sub 3.
Yes, thank you. It's always nice when the Dark Nuts cooperate.
So you did have to do this section twice, but
it's much better than having to make the walk back here.
Yeah,
So
it was
much...
just a gamble of like which spot you wanted to check first. Did you want to check the chest all on its own on the very far right, or these 2 items here, which were a bit like faster to get to?
I usually like checking these 2 first because, like, if either of 2 items are not necessary, then that's the 1 key freed up for you.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Did you get the
Hold
the
on.
beanstalk?
No, I got the beanstalk. I got the cave.
Did you not get the... You didn't get the one in the chest.
I didn't get the Minish house. I completely forgot to roll over here. Or not the Minish
This is why
house.
you have an auto tracker, because it will flash green on your tracker and it's like, yep, you didn't get this.
There was 1 square of green left in this area, and I'm very glad that I noticed it. I should head to Droplets. Because I don't need that 3rd key, and I have everything else.
Yes, you're gonna have to go through Dark Maze again.
I'll eat Dark Maze over having to try and figure out where 1 small key is.
Yeah, there's still a few overworld things you can do.
Yeah, there's definitely still a few overworld things, but it's always nice to be able to check a dungeon off.
Yeah.
Like, that's just 1 big location that you never have to go to again.
This is another spot that is sometimes worthwhile doing a save scum for if you want to save a key. But with Temple of Droplets, there are 4 locked doors and there are 4 small keys. But one of the locked doors is over on the side of the dungeon that you never really have to go to, so it's fine if you don't. You know, you never have to open that door anyway. So if you have if you have 3 small keys, you can use all of those keys and you can full clear the dungeon.
For a little bit more of an explanation on that, so when we go through the Dark Maze, if you have the lamp and you don't want to spend the 1 key to unlock a lily pad, which normally you'd have to take the lily pad around part of the dungeon and then, like, loop over to the right side, and then you have to go from the right side to the left side, so you just kind of pull a figure 8 around the whole dungeon. But if you have cape, like Luna is saying, then you can always skip a door, because you can jump across the room that divides the part where you would normally not be able to go, because you don't have cape at that point. So
The cape's really broken in this game, and there's a reason why it's the very last item you get in the game. The developers did not intend for you to have it at any point earlier, because it just breaks every dungeon.
So like you saw over there, I skipped from that slidey part to a different part, which is the halfway point of the dungeon that you would normally need.
This dungeon is best described as a big figure of 8. That dark room, that very last dark room, is the crossover point. We divide this dungeon into 2 paths: the left path and the right path. The right path is the path we just went down, and it has the dark maze. But using the cape, we can jump to the left path and go backwards through the left path where there's the lily pad section. So normally to get through the left path in its the main way around, you would need to open a small key. You need to open a door with a small key, but doing this jump makes that not needed.
Yeah, because the game, instead of spawning the lily pad in its normal point, sees that you've entered the room from the backside and says, well, you're going to need the lily pad to traverse this room, so we're going to give it to you, regardless of if you actually opened that door and did it normally or not. So, but I don't have the gust jar yet.
Yeah, no gust jar means no lily pad movement.
So at least I can get 2 checks here.
There are 2 items you cannot get, or 2 locations in the basement here that you cannot get. And then there's also the Blue Chew boss fight, which you can't do yet. But you can fight Octo.
I can. PK, that is our lovely follower, I've already forgotten our friend's name. Mustav. Our friend Mustav, who has the nickname of Mushu. Our good merchant friend. And Mustav is here as emotional support, and probably because we have some hay in our pockets.
So this is the very long path to Octo in Temple of Droplets. This path has no items whatsoever, and it takes quite a few minutes to get through. If you don't have to do Octo in the randomizer, you're normally pretty happy, because you don't have to do this awful section full of ice puzzles, and yeah, ice movement in this game is not fun.
No. It's bearable, but you'd definitely rather not do it. And also, in case people aren't exactly aware, Mustav is probably a play off of the King of Hyrule's name in this game, Gustav, who was also part of the donation incentive and was bringing up the rear behind Mustav, so...
Gustav is the Ghost King. It's the one in Royal Valley. It's the ghost that gives you the Kenstone. The king that's alive in this one is called Daltus.
Alright, Daltus, my bad. Oh no, I've already... This is gonna be... This is now
also,
very bad.
There's this room, which is a bit tricky.
I usually don't mess this room up, but we'll be able to...
Yeah.
We'll be able to clean it up. But definitely on the follower settings, when you're setting up the render, the king is called Gustav.
Wait, is it?
Yeah, king is actually called Gustav. You are correct that it's Daltus, but that's not the current king of Hyrule.
Oh, that's completely wrong. Oh, I'd never noticed that. Very nice with the Force Sword there. You can one-cycle those Madder Pillars.
That down there in the ice is one of the checks we can't get because we don't have the Gust Jar. If we had it, I would have been able to shoot the lily pad across. And yes. Thank you, Luna. Yes, the followers are Zelda the Mailman, Anju the Chicken Lady, Malin, Cow, Goron, and the King. And also not listed is your grandfather, the Smith.
Yes.
So I picked from all 8 of those followers, ones that would probably be interesting to have follow you around the game.
We can technically make any entity follow Link. It's just, these are the ones that don't make the game crash.
We have 2 new donations.
Ooh. Read them off while we go fight a giant Octorok.
Awesome. So the first one is from Renbo. Renbo donated $25, and he said, "Ma ma 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 ma, yeah 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 yeah, that." Thank you, Renbo. That's
Thank
my
you.
son, by the way. He's 1, so he's really good at technology apparently. And then we have another $25 from Scottman, $8.95. Mustav is a hype moo cow. Mustav loves music. Mustav likes to move around. Moo's talking. Thank you, Scottman.
And yes, this is one of the more annoying fights. Oh, I forgot. I forgot my patterns.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So this boss fight, there's 3 cycles. The first cycle is easy because Octo just shoots rocks at you the entire time. The second cycle is scripted to be exactly the same pattern of shooting rocks and then trying to suck you up. So we just memorize the pattern, and yeah, it's pretty easy to get through. Now, this is the final cycle, and this is completely luck-based. It's complete RNG. There's nothing we can do to decide what happens here, unless you do an RNG manipulation. Oh, you got look! Oh,
Come on!
oh, you got best RNG.
Yes!
3 rocks.
Yes! Stream luck!
So Octo can do 2 things there. It can either shoot 3 rocks in a row, or it sucks you up and then fires 1 rock. And then after it fires 1 rock, it inks the entire screen. That is known as a 0 ink because we didn't see any ink.
And that saves like a good 30 seconds?
Each ink cycle costs 30 seconds. Worst RNG costs up to an entire minute because you get 2 ink cycles, and that is the Cloudtop Skin Stone. We can go to
Nice.
Palace.
Nice, Palace time. And I will flute there. And it's a good thing that we have 4 keys at the current moment, because now I can definitely go through the half point, no problem. And I am most definitely going to go to Cloud Tops right now.
Yes, GBA RNG. When you reboot any GBA game, the RNG value gets set to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every single time, which makes it great for RNG manipulations.
I didn't need to have the cape, but I will need to have the cape from leader. Okay, so...
Luna, we've already mentioned that Hundo does do a 40-minute long RNG manipulation.
Yeah, we mentioned that when we were in the lake area at some point. So anyways, we finally got the last Cloud Top Skin Stone. The reason I left that first one out of the way is because obviously it was extremely fast for me to walk up there and just put the one in. But depending on how many kinstones you have, I can't help the old man. I was a floor below. you always want to put the kinstones in reverse order, so that if you ever have to make a return trip, your return trip is as short as possible. And ideally, you'd be coming up here with at least, like, 3 kinstones, but you'd really want to come up here with just all of them.
Wind Tribe's really nice to come and visit because there are a ton of items over here.
And also, after having learned all the little speedy strats that go not just for randomizer, but that can be used in normal play as well, I honestly think that Palace of Winds is one of my my favorite dungeon in the Minish Cap.
Absolutely. Every speedrunner says this. It is the best dungeon in the game. It's so fun to do all of the strats associated with this dungeon.
P-hats.
Yeah. P-hats can be a bit annoying to deal with. The best thing to do is throw your skulls at them. If you've got the Force Sword, though, you can either do a spin attack or the down strike to be able to hit the P-hats. Luckily, that guy didn't bother you as you took your clones to the end of the room.
So...
We've got the cape early, so we can skip over a couple of these puzzle rooms because they don't expect you to have the cape. But
honestly, cape, like Miss said, really breaks the game, but is also just makes this dungeon so good. And even then, you get the cape extremely early on, and like every trick you can learn in this dungeon just makes it so much faster. Hey, there we go!
Oh, we have the invisible cloud stack. There's a set of stairs of clouds that you use to climb up to the next floor, and it's invisible because the follower NPC is taking too much space in the graphics engine. So yeah, it's just not displaying the clouds. Don't worry, they're there. We can still climb up them, and we'll just be climbing up these invisible clouds. And speaking of Dreamy in chat, we have this strat that she developed, which will help us skip this entire floor. This is known as Dream Jump.
And that's how much time does that save, Myth?
About a minute. It cuts out like 2 rooms over on the right-hand side, and skips everything on this floor, and we just ride the platform around and go up another set of clouds to the next floor.
I was fairly intimidated by, like, oh, I'll never be able to learn that. But then when I was actually just told how to do it, I was like, oh, that's an extremely easy setup.
Yes.
And then... However, having Force Sword to do this dungeon is not always the most ideal. I don't have...
This is why you need to learn the other setup.
I will never learn. I should learn it, though.
You put the real link at the bottom, not at the top.
Yeah. That jump has had other setups, but that one is definitely the easiest to learn and is just super consistent. So, like, you just get to skip that entire part there. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, people just originally just, like, kind of, like, YOLO'd it, and it's lenient enough that you can just, like, top runners do just YOLO it, like, there's no need to make a super precise setup for it, but, yeah, Dreamy made the setup that is completely consistent and very noob-friendly.
Yeah, like me when I was learning it. Oh, come on.
Nice.
Yeah, just so many things you can learn that, like, aid even in normal gameplay. Not even just rando. Like, you can take any of these fast tricks, like how the words are failing me right now. Like, learning that whiz robes can get caught on fire. Learning that you can do dream jump.
I'm not.
I'm doing it.
Do whatever you want here. This is a tricky. This section here has you have to think a lot as a runner because Zany's going to go out of their way here to do this pot pushing puzzle to be able to check one item. and if this is junk, then it's wasting a lot of time to come out
no.
there. This
can-
is fine.
Yeah, this is fine.
There you go. It's also easy to accidentally push pots into the wrong spot and lock yourself in. But you
Anyways.
can check what the item is here later on in the dungeon. So you can know if you need to come back. You can backtrack for this spot or not.
I'd just rather not backtrack because given the max nature of the
valid.
settings, it's like I really don't want this to be a figurine or a key and just be like, well, I didn't want to do it, so let's not do it. I didn't have to do it this time, sadly, but it's not as much of a time sink as backtracking through the entire dungeon would have been. I experienced that recently.
Yeah.
And here, another fun trick.
But remember as well, when you do backtrack for it, you don't need to do the pot pushing section because the door gets opened automatically.
Oh, that's something I never actually knew.
Yes, that's why, it is... Oh, it's not too bad if you have to backtrack, because it's... We're about halfway through this first climb.
And I actually got a good cycle there. I was able to just go. Also, normally, the game makes you think that you need to go to the top of the clouds there to make that jump, but by using cape extensions, like we mentioned way earlier in the run, which is just where you press A or B, depending on what you have cape on, and just delay pressing it again instead of holding it, and you can extend your jump to go just a little bit further. And just that little bit further is enough to allow you to make those jumps.
Also, Luna said that the majority of the glitches in this game are frame perfect, and I would like to argue against that. As earlier today, I have taught Zany a large amount of the beginner glitches in this game, enough so that you could even pull off an any percent speedrun if you wanted to. And yeah, you can just, teach it in a couple of hours in an afternoon. They're not extremely tough, frame perfect tricks that need hours and hours of practice.
Come on, yeah!
We do have the most useful glitch in this game is the Ocarina glitch, and it is frame perfect, but it's not. It's like how people say that the ISG Infinite Sword glitch is frame perfect in Ocarina of Time. Yes, it technically is because you need to press the button the same, on exactly one frame for it to work. But you can retry it as many times as you want, and so you just keep retrying it until you get it.
We're approaching the mini boss of this dungeon.
Oh, this is going to be a really tough fight. Everyone, pay attention here.
And it's done.
Oh, amazing fight. Well done. Excellent.
Perfect execution.
Yeah, great job.
You just get to skip that entire fight by jumping over, because then you fall out of the arena, the Darkness gets confused, and it's close enough to the edge of the platform where you can just swipe your sword. It's, like I say, as when you learn how to do this dungeon fast, even just casually, it just makes this dungeon so much funner. More fun, rather. Also, more fun strats. Usually in this room, you'd have to break those pots up there to...
This room is awful.
Yeah. All the P-hats, all the broken, crumbling tiles there. You can, if you have remote bombs, you can just set a remote bomb, or even just a normal bomb and time it right, and just swipe the other two buttons and you're good to go.
Yeah, so from this point on, we're going to get a bunch of these puzzles that are just like that, where it's 4 switches laid out in a room that, the intention is that you're supposed to create clones and then move the clones into a specific position and then slash to hit all of the switches at the same time. And we're not going to ever make any clones to do these puzzles. They are doable without creating clones. You can use bombs to hit some of the switches whilst you sword slash the others. Or a well-timed spin attack will also deal with these puzzles.
Oh, I did the opposite side. I should have gotten the ice one first. Yeah, some puzzles are... Luna, or Myth, brings up the... using bombs. Not exactly for switches later, but I'm not gonna go for that strat because I'm just not versed enough in how to do it.
Oh, the YOLO jump.
Or... if that's what it's called, but I mean in Dark Hyrule.
Oh, in Dark... Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not good at bomb strats for Dark Hyrule. So.
Oh, no. I didn't mean the bomb strat with the cannons.
Yeah, I know you were talking about
No.
switches, but I wanted to
Yeah.
bring it up because it's in a similar vein to... you'd need to make 4 clones and have them be in a proper orientation.
Yeah, don't worry about the cannon room. The cannon strat is hard if you're trying to use bombs. It takes a lot of practice.
Also,
with
another
things, so-
trick coming up right here.
Yeah, this is the YOLO jump I was just mentioning. That's a fun trick.
And
And you nailed the shot. Nice.
I don't know, like, any specific pixel I need to stand on for that. Literally every
you
time...
you nailed my visual setup. That I was like, oh yeah, yep, they're firing the arrow at the right spot.
No, I don't know how to do that. Every time I have fired an arrow to do that, I have hit it, and I don't know how. Just
It's-
pure intuition.
Yeah. There's like, I want to say there's like 4 or 5 pixels, maybe 3 or 4 pixels. That is the width that you can fire an arrow to like hit the shot.
Zebrag, Mustav is doing very well. He is very much aiding in our quest to save Zelda. That's also a really good jump.
Yes, that's a fun jump to do. This room is really tricky because you try and jump over the thing. It's like, oh, this is so hard. You keep trying to jump over forwards, and it's like, how do people do this? And then you see it's like, wait, no, people jumping backwards. And then you try jumping backwards, and you're like, oh, it's actually the freest thing ever.
Yeah, because what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to just very closely go around. I couldn't.
Okay.
I couldn't
Yes,
do
you have
more.
run out of small keys. I was like, why are you moving?
No,
It's like,
yeah,
yes,
I'm leaving because I have to leave. I can't do
Yes.
anything else.
You have no more small keys.
But I do have some small keys elsewhere, even if I don't have the big key yet. So I'm going to make a stop into Deepwood.
Was there anything in the fan loop? And the big chest? Because I was gonna mention that that's something you want to skip if you go into Palace, because it's much better to just get the boss done and then, you know, backtrack to go all the way back there way later if it turns out that there was a figurine there. But...
Yeah, I mean, I figured I had enough keys to where I could get Blue Warp and even get to Red Warp. So I figured...
Yes, yeah, you can get to Red Warp, but it's mainly the boss. Now you need to find that last
Singular
Palace
key.
small key. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is only one left in the seed. You need to find it to be able to beat the seed.
And then I will...
But
Just
you are
set it for
in Deepwood Shrine.
Without Gus Jar and without Boss Key.
Still no Gus Jar and no boss key. It doesn't matter that we don't have the boss key, because the boss does require us to use the Gus Jar to be able to kill, so... if we find the boss key, still it doesn't do anything for us. That Gus Jar is needed.
Honestly, Deepwood is usually the last dungeon anyone will do, because just for some reason, Gus Jar is always, like, seems to be the last progression item you'll get in any rando seed.
Yeah, it doesn't lock much, which means it can be anywhere. Anyone who plays A Link to the Past randomizer, the Gus Jar in this game is very much like the Ice Rod, if you have Turtle Rock required. It is this item that can just be anywhere in the entire game. There's like, it doesn't really lock much, but so it can just be anywhere, which means that it's just so... It takes so long to find.
And once again, bombs coming in very handy here for clearing dust clouds. Though in this case, I suppose it's like fungus spores. Okay. Okay.
And
Don't-
also, the other item that we need to find is the graveyard key, which again, paralleling a link to the past randomizer, it's like we need to find one of the medallions. I can't remember, it's been a while since I played it, but one of the medallions to open like Maya or Turtle Rock. You know, that it's like that. Graveyard key opens Royal Crypt.
Oh, come on. Oh my god.
Wait, sorry?
Gustjar.
Well, it was there. Oh,
Yeah! Gustjar was there.
Gustjar was in deep with this whole time. Great. And it was like 2 chests away from being vanilla. Because this room here, this is the vanilla Gustjar location.
Yeah. Oh.
And there's the last fortress, Smokey, which we don't need.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
That is, yeah, that's
Oh my god.
Also, we have 11 figurines left to find.
No, we're
I
not
think
in
we
go
might
mode
want
yet.
I think we might want a countdown for the figurines, because remember, we do need to get all 136 figurines before we are able to open Dark Tower Castle. And as well as the figurine requirement, we need to beat all dungeons and collect all of the elements, which we have. We have all of the elements.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah?
No, I was just agreeing.
Yes, we do have all of the elements. I'm not lying. There we go.
Okay. Almost vanilla Gustjar. Damn it. Okay. That's all we can do in Deepwood for now.
Yep.
But...
So the Gustjar opens 2 other locations in the overworld.
Mm-hmm.
That is saving the old man Gregor in the Wind Tribe. So the randomizer did make changes. Earlier I mentioned how in the vanilla game, if you don't save the old man early enough, he will die, and you will never get the light arrows. In this, we removed that check, so you can always go and save you can always save him and then go and get the 2 items that he offers. He gives you 1 item straight away, and if you return after you've cleared Cloud Tops, then he will give you the 2nd item.
Mm-hmm. And yes, PTM, max settings is all dungeons mode.
There is a specific setting that is enabled, which requires all dungeons are beaten as well. So that has been turned on.
And technically, one of these isn't a true dungeon, but it does get counted as one.
Yeah.
My tracker didn't like either of those being checked in completion.
I thought you didn't do them.
I did. I just.
You did? Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I just cleared them out, but like.
Okay, so I didn't see you had done them either.
So I need to probably head back to town.
Yeah, you hand a mushroom in to
Yeah,
the shop.
the mushroom. That's the only town check left that is of any import, and then saving Old Man Greagle.
I think the only other thing I didn't see you do was, did you do the Farmer Mitz Cave?
I did not do the Farmer Mitz Cave. That's something
Yeah.
I do indeed, in fact, need to check. And then it'd just be go along the path to Royal Crypt, and then have the key be along the path to Royal
nice.
Crypt. Or,
So that mushroom was on the boss of Fortress. It was on Mazal.
or
the
we
hand
could
and
have
eye
a
boss.
completely vanilla graveyard key that I've just been putting off because I don't have it.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, you know, Graveyard Key in Graveyard, Gustjar in, like...
Yeah, exactly.
in
That's why.
Deepwood. This
that's-
is just the French vanilla seed.
That's why I was thinking that maybe the boss key chest in Deepwood would actually have the Deepwood boss key.
So you have 2 crypt keys?
I have all 3.
Oh, you have all 3. Oh, great. So
Yeah. The only reason I haven't gone over there just to check is because I just still haven't gotten Graveyard Key yet.
You can just quit. Oh wait, no, sorry, you're getting the second item.
Yeah. Which was a figurine.
There you go. So, yep, that is 10 figurines left.
Mm-hmm. And then we quick warp, and I'll just run through town. We're gonna go visit the graveyard and see where the graveyard key is.
Did you hand in the mushroom?
I did.
You did. I'm blind.
It's fine. Oh, I guess I haven't blown this up at any time.
No, you didn't.
Because I never had bombs before then.
Yeah, bombs was a little bit late.
Oop. Okay, so...
I really hope the graveyard key isn't in Farmer Mitt's cave.
I'm gonna go back and check that. I immediately forgot after you mentioned it. No, it's gotta be there, right? That'd be funny. It'd be funny if it was in Farmer
No, it can't
Mitt's
be there.
cave. I mean,
it's definitely going to be on Dante.
I mean, we didn't want to go check the Mitt's cave up on top of Krenel in that one seed. And look where it got us. So, I'm not going to leave just this one check. I mean, it's a key.
Oh, yeah, that looks important.
Okay, never mind. Change of plans.
Oh, okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Okay, I say that Palace of Winds is my favorite dungeon overall in this now, and it is. But, honestly, props go to Cave of Flames, because Cave of Flames is always nice to me, but also for the later part of the dungeon, where we get to do more fun jumps with the cape.
I think people know my stance on Cave of Flames. I don't need to bring this up here.
Yeah, I mean, some people here do. And you definitely have a stance on Cave of Flames.
It's too rude to say here on the marathon.
No, Cave of Flames is usually nice to me, and honestly, fairly often it has my cape. But I always abandon Cave of Flames.
Yeah, I love it when the cape is in the last chick in the lava maze, and you had to ride all the lava platforms around. That's my most fun thing.
Okay, so then... Okay, sure. Damn it. Didn't have a full...
Nearly. It almost had all of the roller bites in the same pattern. But yeah, coming back to Cave of Flames with the cape is much nicer.
And I'm not going to do... I'm going to do normal jump strats, but not the good jump strats. Because I still don't know good jump strats.
Oh.
I'll probably have to take the time to learn, and also just get better at cape jumps here in general, but...
I mean, just check out my optimal clear video, and you'll just see. It's like, oh, it's that. You just jump backwards through the same way you go. Okay, there's a droplets. Well, that's the last one, which we don't need.
Yeah. So, normally you'd... So I'm going reverse through this area.
Oh, what we on here? This is seven figurines left.
But if you have the cape and you know exactly where you need to jump, you can just go backwards through the cave, and it's a lot faster than having to wait.
6 left.
And Mustav is also made of air, floating above the highly flammable lava that would turn Mustav into a... Not even a well done, a congratulations steak. That would just be charred beyond recognition. So then we do that, and then that. So, also fighting Gleerock is fun, because normally you don't have bow at this point. and you just have your sword. So how you fight Gleerock is he has a shell on his back, and you use the cane to flip it up, and Gleerock will make a bridge with its neck that you have to go across. And I was on the slightly slower stick. I don't have it.
You don't have you don't have the bow butterfly. You can boot cancel if you practiced it.
If I practiced it, I could, but I didn't practice it because I've never practiced it. So I don't actually get to show off the fun way to beat Gleerock, which is you can just shoot at any angle with the bow, and Gleerock will get finished off. I am always super cautious in Phase 2. I almost always get hit by fire. Also, the fire here being unusually plentiful with hearts, or rather, you would assume unusually plentiful, but the fires here just give a lot of hearts for some reason. And the longer transition. Because if... I could have done beam strats, that's right, but I'm...
Yeah, you'd either need full health or 1 heart.
I mean,
so...
I do have a fairy in my back pocket, but I'm sure I was going to get hit at some point.
Yeah. You can always slash the fire to make hearts drop.
Yeah.
Alright, 5 figurines left.
And that was a Dark Nut? And a singular dollar. So that's Cave of Flames done. But we're not done here quite yet. We still have to go talk to Malari, who, in the normal game, we would have only just gotten our green smith sword, or our green white sword. Which turns into the Deepwood Shrine Big Key!
Well, that was the that was the progression then. With Mitz, you were supposed to go to that farmer dig cave, come back to Cave of Flames, get your big key and go to Deepwood and get your Gust Jar.
Mm-hmm. Instead, we're like triple quad dipping Deepwood.
This is a triple dip. So this is going to be the
Seed is banned.
This will be we've beaten 3 bosses. This is going to be the 4th boss we beat. We need to beat 6 to unlock the final dungeon.
Well, 1 isn't really beating.
Yeah, it is. Come on, the 2 Gibdos at the end of Crypto are totally the final boss.
Such a hard fight.
Yeah.
Oh, I might have to go back to Droplets.
Yes, there are 3 items there.
You know what? I'll go there next.
Yeah? I mean, you're still looking for a Palace Small Key, the Graveyard Key, and 5 figurines. So...
Yeah, so I'd rather go there and have the Graveyard Key maybe be there than go to Graveyard and it's just not there.
I wanted to point out really quick that we are still going for 7.5K. We're at 7,256 right now for our donations. If we get $224 donated, sorry, $244 donated by the end of this run, which is not going to be too far from now, then we will be adding a game code for winner's choice to the giveaways, and this is the last chance for this, guys. And I also wanted to point out that we do have merch for this event. If you hit !merch in the chat, it will bring up a link for you, and all proceeds go to Stream for a Cause.
And while I have
We
time
definitely
for...
we definitely do not have much time left on this randomizer. There's a very nice magic boomerang. I just had a quick count, and there are 21 item locations left uncollected in the world at the moment. That is all that is left to find. We have like 3 in droplets. There's like 4 in, sorry, it's 20 actually, because you did get that first just before going into Royal Valley. Yeah, so there's 3 in Royal Valley, and then there's 3 in Temple of Droplets. That's those 60 you have available.
So, once again, I'd much rather get not graveyard out of the way and have it be the graveyard key. And whatever. I'd like to hedge my bets.
Yeah.
Words. Words are very difficult. I'm actually going to clear these out first.
Yes, I would recommend leaving Blue Chew as long as possible, but I think you're gonna have to do Blue Chew.
Oh, I'm probably gonna have to do Blue Chew.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Blue Chew anyways.
Or you could just do it now. It's like, yeah, just double choose. Just do both the Chew fights at the same time.
I mean, look, the Summer Seed was a thing, okay? Or whatever seed that was. I remember having to fight a Chew in a location I shouldn't have had to fight a Chew in.
Oh, yes.
That was...
So our community likes making ROM hacks of, like, randomized ROM hacks where it's like you go to a room and it's like, hang on, this room's, like, completely different to what I'm expecting it to be, and, yeah. These we lovingly called the punishment seeds.
Because, as I've described them, they have been scientifically engineered to make you waste as much time as possible. Or to be as mean to you as possible in any meaning of that sentence. So, for example, I wanted to show off the Summer Seed, which is... yes, Luna, we're facing Wobbuffet today.
Probably.
So one example was, I think, the Spring Seed, or the Fall Seed, I can't remember which, where you would get a singular item in Deepwood Shrine, and then you would be expected to go all the way up the mountain to Cave of Flames, to which Cave of Flames would yield you a singular item to make you go all the way back to Deepwood, which would then make you go back to Cave of Flames.
Is this my my loving creation, the Hayden's special Plando?
I don't think so. This was definitely one of the spring or summer seeds.
Okay.
Or
Me and
spring
my
or fall
friend
seeds.
Dax created a Plando, which wasn't actually a ROM hack of the game. It was just the regular rando, but we Plandoed it to make it the worst possible seed imaginable. And you had to backtrack from Cave of Flames to Palace of Winds through the vanilla paths with no ocarina or boots.
Oh.
A grand total of 11 times.
Oh no!
Yep. We did some calculations.
Oh.
And figured out the scientifically optimal way to kill someone's will to play the game.
You see what I mean, folks?
We
Punishment
have a
seeds.
donation.
Ooh, a
Oh.
donation. Always nice
We
to hear.
have a donation. It was a $24 donation from Dizzy Nitrum saying, Minish Cap? More like Finish Cap. Let's hit that goal, y'all.
Yo!
Thank you so much, Dizzy. We're now at 7280. We need 7,500, and we will get to that goal. Let's get those spicy Twinkies. That was a weird thing to yell. I also have a quick question. Again,
Yes.
what is the can you please explain the difference between a randomizer and a ROM hack? Because
Yes.
that
I
mixed
was
Yeah.
going to ask Myth to clarify between Rando and
okay.
Plando.
So the randomizer is just aimed at shuffling the items in their the locations that they are already found in the game. It's trying to preserve the game in its original state as much as possible. The only change is changing locations around and then tweaking things to make sure that you don't get soft locked. What a ROM hack is a creator has used assets from the game and moved things around and changed the structure of the game to be a slightly new game, but like based in the original game. Some people could say that like I might get flack for saying this, but like Majora's Mask is a ROM hack of Ocarina of Time. It's basically in the same engine, using the same assets. They did make a load of new stuff when they added it in to create a completely new experience, but it kind of gets the vibe I'm going for here.
That made a lot more sense. Thank you, because you explained that really well. I get it now.
And also, a plando in terms of the normal rando is where there is. Correct me if I'm wrong on this first part.
You plan it.
But yes, you plan it.
Name.
So like, they
this
either
item goes here, that item goes there.
Yeah, they either generate a seed or they just decide where everything goes beforehand, and then generate how you're supposed to go through. Oh, is this gonna have to be?
Yes, there is nothing left to find, by the way. You are going to find a graveyard key here.
No, I mean, no. I don't have to find my graveyard key here, Myth. That's why I'm worried.
I see. You could find a Palace Small Key.
3. I mean, no, I did find my Palace Small Key.
Oh, you did?
1,
then I
2.
think it will be in Palace.
Oh, I'm for sure it's going to be in Palace. It can't be vanilla.
It can't be vanilla. This is the vanilla location here. Dampe has normally gives you the graveyard key in the vanilla game.
No! Graveyard key on Georg.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I think my tracker tapped out a while ago.
Yeah, Luna gives the best example of a ROM hack. If you've ever played Master Quest for Ocarina of Time, that is a ROM hack. Because it's basically exactly the same game, but they just changed some things in dungeons to make puzzles different and stuff.
Oh. And at least I'm going into this fight with pretty full health. And pretty high health, even. So this
you shouldn't have any problems with Mazao. And remember, there's 2 items.
Yeah, on the way. But also, I shouldn't have any problems with Mazal. I didn't. I've already had my time with Mazal.
Yeah, sorry,
George.
Sorry, Georg, yes.
Or as we can refer to him sometimes, George.
George. Yep, there are 3 item locations left.
Mm-hmm.
There's 1 chest.
That's surely the truth. Oh.
Then we've got Georg's heart container and then the prize.
So, you know one thing that I've only just remembered? I usually, whenever I roll a 100% seed, there's our key.
Ah, there it is.
Whenever I roll 100% seed, there's usually one sword scroll that is always like chilling in Dark Hyrule Castle that I just never get.
Oh. Yeah,
and
definitely.
This time it's Rockbreaker, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah. Rockbreaker is a nice to have. It lets you slash to break skulls and pots and...
Anyways, the Georg fight. So, I explained that having 4 sword up here is kind of bad, and it's because of how all the puzzles in Palace work, but also this boss fight. But, if you have down thrust, you can jump in a general area on Georg, and you can just hit all of the potential eye locations at once, and not even have to deal with the splitting, which is really helpful in, say, starting on this phase where you have projectiles shot at you. So instead of having to dodge projectiles, I also got. Oh! Oh! Oh!
You're
Oh! I did not expect to get all of those
yeah,
in a row.
It's easy to chain them. That once you've got one, it just chains very, very easily. But yeah, that is I think that's frame perfect. If you slash as the eye is the eyes are closing and manage to hit all of them, then it keeps them all awake. It doesn't save any time, but it's very like fun to see happen. There is a internal timer that's going on in the background that keeps track of and doesn't allow you to deal damage to the boss until this time has gone by, and the timer is the same amount of time as if the eyes closed and then reopened. But yeah. Oh, and you get the hover. Very nice.
This
Again,
is a
frame
Georg.
perfect. If you do a sword slash, there is a 1 frame window after doing a down strike that you can sword slash and you'll stay hovering in the air, and then you can just mash sword and stay in this hovering state.
I guess in some ways the seed does actually giveth instead of only taketh away. As opposed
also,
to what Salas said.
These two things that you showed off, these two bugs or like glitches that you showed off in Georg, these are the European version exclusive glitches for Georg. They don't happen in the Japanese or American versions of the game. The randomizer is built from the European version because it is the European version is the earliest build of the game.
I thought it was because not enough people in North America cared about Minish Cap. But knowing that it's the earliest build of the game, that makes more sense.
Yeah, the American version was delayed until well after the DS came out.
Oh, and also this isn't supposed to happen here, right, Myth?
Yes, that cutscene's supposed to play when you exit Dampé's house. But it primes that cutscene ready to play as soon as you have the graveyard key in your inventory, and you can enter from any one of the locations, and it will deploy it will play that cutscene. What's really fun is if you enter from. You can enter Royal Valley, and then there is an exit on the very bottom of the screen. If you exit out of there, re-enter this area.
Right.
You need to save
Right.
you need to get the key back.
I
You can go and talk to Dampé and get this cutscene ready. If you quick warp from inside of Dampé's house, you quick warp to this bottom entrance. And then the cutscene will play instantly, and Link's just sat there watching for like 5 seconds as the bird is flying from the tree by Dampé's house all the way across the area and then hits Link. Link falls down on the ground with the graveyard key on the floor, and then the bird has to fly really far away again from that spot to come and pick up the graveyard key, and it's just really funny.
yeah. Oh, jeez. All the figurines being nestled in graveyard.
Yeah, you have 3 figurines left to buy.
Well, 2 now.
2?
I have a quick donation.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We have a $5.05 donation from TwitchNick 022 for my last donation of the marathon. Just wanted to say thank you all so much for putting this incredible event on and for all the awesome gameplay. You guys are so incredible. Smiley face.
Aw, thanks, Twitchnick.
TwitchNick.
Yeah, I haven't watched every single run that's gone down over the course of 3 days, but I've definitely tuned into quite a few, and I know that there's a lot of planning that has to go into events like these.
Alright, there's 1 figurine left. It's either on the dungeon reward, it's on the left-hand side, or it's on the right-hand side.
Mm-hmm. It could be anywhere. It could even be a butterfly.
Oh, there's the bow butterfly. That's very nice. You're gonna make use of that in one of the final boss fights.
Mm-hmm. Wait it out.
And-
Hey!
There's the rock breaker. This is a loaded crypt.
Yeah.
Which means The figurine's on the boss. Well, it's on the last check of this
Yeah,
dungeon.
yeah.
Which means we can head directly to Dark Tower Castle and finish the final dungeon.
Yeah. Yes, we are finally in go mode on the last
are in
possible
go
check
mode.
that we could have
On
go
the
mode
last-
on.
Yep. Well, these max settings randos normally do end up being full clears. That was the last location go mode.
I mean,
Gustav had the go mode item.
yeah, Gustav and Mustav. We should have known from the start.
How did we not know? So, Dark Harrow Castle does have a load of items inside of it, but we're gonna skip all of it and just go directly to the boss because we have the boss key.
Any small key that you find for Dark Hyrule Castle after the first one in a key sanity where, like, yeah, in a key sanity is totally worthless. Unless you have open Dark Hyrule Castle. And maybe a few other settings. But basically, you only ever need in key sanity one small key and one big key for Dark Hyrule Castle. And so I talked about how I picked followers for this way earlier, based on how funny it would be to have them go around the map with us. So Zelda was picked because it's funny to have Zelda on an adventure with Link to save herself, trapped in stone. The reason it'd be funny to have a cow is just because it's funny to have a cow following you the entire time. And the reason I wanted to have the king be a follower is because then the king can try and defend us from the king, who is actually Vadi. But Mustav did not protect us from Vadi's projectile.
Move.
And so now we're in the final roughly 7 to 10 minutes of the run, I'd say.
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
So all we have to do is go all the way from the bottom of Dark Hyrule Castle all the way up to the top. This is mostly normal. And now the one part that I'm honestly dreading more than any other part of the fight is any other part of Dark Hyrule Castle is coming up. I'm just not good at it.
Yeah, this is tricky. This room. So there's these cannons that we need
Nice!
to reflect the shots
Easy!
back to, and you get it first try. That is a lot harder than it looks.
Whatever. They converged on me.
Yeah. Alright, so who likes the Darknut fights? Because we're going to be fighting a lot of Darknuts here. So this is the first of the Darknut fights. This is only a red Darknut, which is like a super strong Darknut that we haven't seen yet. We saw one in Palace, but we did do a cheese strat to kill it very quickly.
So it doesn't really count. But yeah, we are going to fight a lot of Darknuts, but we're also going to skip a lot of Darknuts. It all depends on how you view a lot.
Yes, this dungeon has another,
actually...
like, 7 Darknuts. Yeah, there's another, like, 7 Darknuts that we're actually skipping, because we already have the big key. In different settings, if you're not playing Key Sanity, you normally have to do a lot more of this dungeon, because you need to be finding the big key to be able to beat the boss, and you quite often have to collect every single item in this dungeon to find it. But yeah, we're super speeding through this because it's key sanity. We already have the key.
I realize I've just made a major error in how I want to position myself.
Yep. This is fine.
I made it work.
So we got this outside gliding section of Dark Harrow Castle, and yeah, this is just a little bit of a slow section, but we're about to hit the oh, do not quick wall.
Also, if the Keaton and the Moblin could have been out of my way for that.
Yeah, that would have been nice as well.
Here's our one final switch puzzle that is completely invalidated because the 4-sword reach is just a little bit farther.
Yeah. And also, these chain soldiers here, yeah, we're not fighting them.
Nope.
And now this guy here, also another chain soldier.
He's gonna actually hurt me though.
Yeah, but yeah, we're not fighting him. We're just moving past. And also this room here, very nice, great spin strat here. Just owns all of these Keatons and makes that room just so free.
I always like doing that just to see Link just there.
I've not seen that done before. Oh, very nice. Getting to kill one of the Darknuts with a great spin is really, really good. So this is a triple Darknut fight. This one's really fucking brutal, but the using the great spin makes it much, much easier. Yeah, this Black Knight's going to be a lot trickier to kill.
Yeah, because he just has... He stops his animations a lot quicker.
Also, that charge-up attack he does, it deals like 6 hearts of damage. It absolutely wrecks you, so you really don't want to get hit by them at all.
Yep.
This is such a difficult fight for a casual, because you just get on such low health at this point, that you now have to fight 3 stages of the final boss, and it's not easy.
You have to get through 2 of them before you get any meaningful healing.
Yeah, so be warned, any casuals that have not played this game before, the final boss is brutal, and you do want to really prepare yourself for this. Because if you die at any point of any of these fights, you go back to the beginning of the dungeon. So this is Vati 1. We're going to use the Gust Jar. Well, first we're slashing all of the eyes that spin around him, and then slashing his main eye to do damage to his body. Now we're going to use the Gust Jar to suck up this purple smoke that he puts around the eyes to protect them, but if we just use the Gust Jar on his main body, we suck them up as they spawn in. And this is the very last cycle. If we can get a great spin on to Vati, it will kill him.
Damn it!
Ah, you got set on fire.
Yeah.
13-1 is quite tricky because of the
RNG
involved in it.
Oh no! Now it's all going wrong!
It shoots fire out, and if you mess that cycle up, you, yeah, the fight really gets a bit pear-shaped.
Okay, just...
You can't slash to break these fire as well, which is a mistake a lot of people make. You have to avoid the fire, and you still want to do a great spin.
Oh, he is... There we go!
Yeah, very nice. Okay. So now, we're on to the second stage of Vati. This is Vati 2. This is one of the most RNG-intensive boss fights in the entire game. So we need to fire the arrows into these orbs around its body and reveal which vulnerable eyes it has. Then we need to create clones and hit them to make his main body vulnerable and then hit him. Now we have a method of doing a cycle skip on this fight and doing it in only 3 cycles instead of 4.
Which I'm going to try and pull off.
Yep, this involves doing spin attacks on the boss. The spin attack is a bit broken in this game when you are spinning with clones. It does a bugged amount of damage and actually doesn't deal damage to the boss, but it sets it to a set value. And this value happens to be below the threshold for the second phase. This is the third one. The damage value it's going to set it to is like 1 slash away from killing it. So, yeah. The easiest strat is to just YOLO a great spin into the boss.
And there we go.
We get the spin attack and it is over.
Okay.
Yes, we can quickly get another boss, another donation in before we start the final boss.
Okay. Moostav donated $100.
Woo!
And said that was a really fun adventure for us. Moo. So, $115 left to get that goal incentive and for this one last final boss.
Mm-hmm. This is only going to take like all of 2 minutes for this final boss.
Yes.
And
Let's go.
And you would never think about, in your normal first playthrough, how to actually get Vadi's arms to be...
Yeah, that's right. Congratulations to everyone who guessed in chat. We used the cane to flip the arm over, and no, people didn't really get that. So a lot of casuals did get to this boss fight, die, and be like, how are you supposed to kill this guy? And it's like, yeah, you're supposed to use the cane on the arm. Duh.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Also...
there's 2 arms that we need to kill. The first arm is like normal, just kill the eye that's on the inside of it. The second one is in the dark, so we use the lantern to turn it on, to make it so we can see. Just used a great spin to just go at the guy.
Please?
Yeah, just do slashes to kill it.
And you saw me standing on the platform there, right behind Vadi. If you stand on that, you take absolutely 0 damage. So, if you want, you can... This is off. I knew it was off.
So this, as all Zelda final bosses go, there is a tennis phase, and this is the last... this is the final phase of the fight. We need to be playing tennis with him. We are going to need to do tennis 3 times, so that's 1 hit.
Actually, I'll also show off a more interesting
you're gonna
way.
do bomb. You're gonna do bomb strats, okay?
I'll do it for
so
at least the last little bit.
The boss has a very tiny amount of health. You only need to do 2 slashes to progress it to 3 each cycle. The bombs do more than 2 damage, so you just do 1 quick bomb explosion and it'll progress to the final stage. So that's the second hit. Next time we reflect the volleys back, it will be time.
And also, standing in front of Vadi will make him do his eye attack instead of the other one. No. Okay, whatever.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
just...
a very tight window that you need to align yourself
I'll just
up.
be bad. Yeah, there we go, time!
GG.
Yeah, because it only really matters about how many times you hit Vadi there, right? Or is it accumulated damage, but it just turns out to be 2 every time?
It's not accumulated damage. Yeah, it's it counts 3 cycles, and the amount of health it has is equivalent to like 2 slashes. So you can slash it as like all you want. People like go ham and mashing on it, but yeah, all you need to do is just do 2 slashes each one of those volleys, and that's Vati killed.
Yeah. I know that I set my estimate for 3 minutes 30, or 3 hours 30. Ooh, 3 minutes 30. But after testing, it turned out that I routinely clear them in roughly 3 hours, but I don't actually see my time right now because I don't have the stream open.
You got a 3 hours and 7 minutes and 5 seconds.
Dang it. So I went slightly over my average, but oh, whatever. It was still definitely under.
It wasn't the best seed. You know, that's your average in comparison to your seeds, not in comparison to
yes, of course, because Smith seeds.
But if you press start once, you can skip through the credits and get to and one more time, and then you can get to the final stat screen, where we can see all of the items collected.
Yep.
And you can press R and L and go through all of the stats, so you can see what times the bosses were beaten, and various other stats like items collected and
In-game timer, as in regards to this, is generally not as accurate if you're trying to use this as a gauge to how quickly you beat it. It's accurate to within like a few minutes, but if you truly want to be like exactly how fast did I do it, you'll generally want to use a tracker.
Every time you do a screen transition, there's a couple of lag frames where the game is like not running as it's loading new areas in, and that time is not accounted for in in-game time, which makes it not accurate.
42-minute bombs. Definitely an issue. 2 hours 18 Gust Jar. There we go. And some elements gathered earlier, some gathered later, but that's Minish Cap Randomizer. It's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun running it, and I'm definitely not going to be doing any more 100% seeds anytime soon. So,
Nice job.
I know we still have a little bit of time left. Would we like to surrender that to the marathon and have things
we can
be
fill
considered?
for time, or if you would like to.
Yeah, we can fill for time.
We've got some stuff to show.
Yeah, a little bit. So if we're allowed to, if we can have a little bit more time, or unless you want to have us move along and be early, we could show off a few glitches that can happen in the game.
While we wait for that confirmation, I have one more donation.
Ah, let's hear it then.
We have a $14.95 donation to a nun mouse. A nun mouse. Oh, I get it.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
$100 more to go is what they wrote, because we are at 7,400 exactly. So we are 100 away from the 7.5K.
So, I suppose while we wait for that confirmation, I'll just leave us on this nice menu screen showing a fully completed file. Or almost fully completed. Yeah. Okay, I'm seeing that we should end now, so I guess Glitch Exhibition will have to wait for whoever wants to look it up on their own time. It's very interesting. There's a lot of things that you can do to skip around the world and make things faster for you. And
if you are interested in glitches, the vast majority of them are shown off in the any% speedrun. So just go out and check out the speedrun.com leaderboards and check out one of the any% runs on there, and you'll be wowed by some of the crazy glitches that we do that skip huge segments of the game and just like run around out of bounds over the top of walls and stuff. It's fun.
Even someone like me who had no idea how to do any glitches honestly learned how to do a few of the like really easy but also somewhat important beginner glitches to pull off in a any% run. So they're easy enough to learn, provided you actually remember to allow glitches in your seeds. So thanks everyone for tuning in to Minish Cap. Thanks for all the donations that we got. Thanks for naming our precious Mustav along the way. And we will hand it back over to the organizers to get us ready for our next game. And lastly, thank you, Myth, for agreeing to Co-Comm with me. I don't think I would have had as good explanation on anything if you weren't here.
And well done on the run. That was an excellent run.
Thank you. So, organizers, you can take it away from here. And once again, thanks everyone for showing up, and thanks everyone for continuing to stay here.
Yep, see ya.
guys, it's Madame Wario, and it's time to get to know one of the gamers who helped make the Stacked Game Marathon possible. Introducing Slim Kirby.
Hello everybody, Slim Kirby here. You can just call me Slim. This is my third time being a part of the Stat Game Marathon, and this year I'll be co-hosting the Mario Party Superstars block, and I'll also be running Super Bomberman, and you'll probably catch me on commentary throughout the event as well.
What introduced you to the online gaming community?
Well, I've been gaming for a very long time, since I was practically 2 or 3 years old, and in the year 2000, I discovered the internet and online message boards, and basically a bunch of different sites where you could look for help with different video games and everything of that nature. And throughout the years, eventually ended up on the Nintendo Insider forums, met a lot of people there, started a YouTube channel not too long after that, and the rest is pretty much history. I've met a lot of my greatest friends on the internet. I've been running a YouTube channel for over 15 years now. Been also running a Twitch channel on here for about half of that time as well, and just been enjoying being a gamer online pretty much.
What was your very first video game, and do you still play it?
My very first video game was Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and yes, it is a game that I still play to this day. It's probably my favorite video game of all time. Introduced me to gaming, and I think it's just a perfect embodiment of what a great and classic video game is. It's pretty much brought on my love of platformers, both 2D and 3D platformers. And I also love the Mario series as well. Big fan of that. It eventually got me into the Kirby series, and just in general, big Nintendo gamer over here. And I've played a lot of awesome games, and it all started with Super Mario World, pretty much.
Which game do you wish resembled your actual life?
Honestly, if I had to pick one game that could resemble my actual life, it would probably be the video game Animal Crossing. Just being able to live my own life, do whatever I'd want to do to basically go through life with, and I'd also get to live next to a bunch of cute and awesome animal creatures as well. So that's probably what I'd go with.
I feel like that's one that I would also say, because
Yeah.
I love the concept of that.
Yeah.
Well, Slim, thank you so much for this interview. And do you have any last statements for the Stacked Game Marathon?
Thanks to everyone who's been a part of this marathon, as a supporter of it, as someone who's running something for the marathon, putting on the marathon, if you're here watching the marathon as well. Doing a lot of good things with this marathon, and a lot of great people are involved, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it.
All right, thank you so much, Slim.
So we've got the chubby bunny chub off between Odin and Bill. Every time they put a marshmallow in their mouth, they have to say Stat Game Marathon 2022.
Round one. Cheers.
Cheers.
Stack Game Marathon 2022. I'm like cheeking them.
Stack Game Marathon 2022.
2022.
I did get the jumbo marshmallows. Yeah, keep going.
Stack Game Marathon 2022.
This is a team effort, man. Shove it in.
Thanks, Ryan.
Stack Game Marathon 2022.
Okay. Do we have a cave? We have a cave. Keep going, Bill. How far can you go?
Bill, it's on you.
Stack Game Marathon 2022.
Let's get one more. Yeah.
Stack Game Marathon 2022.
Very good job. Keep going.
Oh no. Alright, I'm here with you, man. I'm right behind you. I'm right behind you. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. I'm hyping up. No, you're not a quitter.
Esports never give up. Okay, here we go. We've got the yummy nummy things.
Yummy
Scooter
nummy.
subbing in for Odin here. They look delicious. Can we get it?
Look
Can we
at this
see how those
plating.
burgers jiggle jiggle?
Why does it look like
A
it's
burger
tater tot?
don't jiggle jiggle.
Do we want to start a certain spot?
Comes with beverage.
Like, I always eat the fries first.
Fair
You know
enough.
what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just
Right in.
cheers. Let's
Why-
go.
don't-
They don't look bad.
Nothing looks bad. Why do people make things that like? Why? Why is this a?
This is like a raspberry ketchup.
Yeah,
Is it a banana French fry?
might be. That's probably the closest thing I
Is
got.
that what's going on here?
You're supposed to dip them in the sauce.
I
That
mean,
is
they
the
are.
sauce.
They got sauce on them.
No,
This
like
is Coke.
but it-
This is
oh.
Coke.
That it comes with a beverage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as a powder.
This is McDonald's. All right,
All right.
down we go.
Down we go.
Hot.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was gonna give y'all a cross second. Oh god.
All right, that's not bad.
What?
Not bad.
That burger's really not good. What
Is
the
it
heck?
fighting back a little?
Yeah, that's
I'm
awful.
good. That soda's been sitting out for a while, hasn't it? It was flat.
Yeah, we made those sodas a little early.
What the? Like it's cola, but holy smoke!
that just tastes flat to me.
That was like triple sugar soda, just like punched me in the face.
I got more sauce here if you want the sauce.
I'm good. Oh god. Thanks for donating, everybody.
Thank you for all your generous donations.
Thanks, Scooter.
And we're back. That was that was amazing. It looked terrible. And yeah, thanks for the donations, everybody. We are officially at 7,400. We need 100 to go to get to 7.5k. Sorry. Because you know you want to see spicy Twinkies, right? Like, we need to see super spicy Twinkie time, and it's just 100 away. We're gonna get it. Absolutely, no question. So I wanted to throw out that if you just walked in or you're not sure what this is all about, this is Stacked Game Marathon. We are a charity gaming marathon. Created by Odin Spack and run by a bunch of amazing people. And we are partnered with Stream for a Cause. They are an amazing community-based organization. They choose nonprofits to for these donations to benefit, and they try to choose. They're really thoughtful about who they choose. This specific stream is going toward charity gaming, which is basically for pediatric patients battling illnesses, really severe illnesses, and it goes toward giving them gaming consoles and gaming games and items when they are in the hospital at their feeling their worst. So we need they need a distraction from this terrible time in their life. And charity gaming also has it's just a really great organization for hospitals and their patients. And then Stream for a Cause has also done others like All Species Kinship, which is an animal sanctuary in Michigan. It's done Oceanites, which is for penguins. It's done Butterfly Haven, this foster care kids, and many other amazing LGBTQ, all kinds of things. So they're amazing. We're very grateful that we get to work with them. And make sure, yeah, and I know Penguins, Pixie, you have to go. Pixel, our friend Pixel is a big penguin fan. Oceanites.org it's so sweet. It's a research on Antarctic penguin populations and their climate and how, we're affecting it, and they're working towards preserving their species. Anyway, back to stacked gaming. So anywho, we are at 7,400. 100 to go before we get to 7.5k. If you hit exclamation point merch, you can find some merch.